An all-star cast in a movie you've probably never heard of about melting Satan-worshipping occultists who are deathly allergic to water. We watched Devil's Reign. We watched it so you don't have to, so you know what time it is.
Horror, so bad it's scary. Splitting up is never okay. Plot, who needs it? Don't turn on the lights. Cars don't ever start, but that's alright. Running upstairs instead of out the door. Good acting, what do we need that for? Horrible horror, so bad it's scary. Enjoy the show, but not really.
Hey, what's up, Moon Goons? Welcome to Horrible Horror, the podcast where we watch the worst of the worst in horror movies. Movies so bad they're scary. I'm your host, Mr. Marshall Hampton. With me, as always, my co-host, my buddy, Mr. Extreme. I'm railing on. I don't know.
Magical Mr. Mistopheles.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
I always fuck it. Anyway, Mr. Aaron Southworth is in the house. Aaron, how are you doing on this lovely? No, not really. It's rainy day. It's a rainy day today.
Rainy and muggy. I'm okay.
Which is very suitable for today's movie.
Yeah,
all the rain
it is. But a better question is, how are you feeling?
I'm hanging in there. I'm back. I had a really rough week, guys. If you follow our Instagram page, Aaron posted a little something about it. But I was doing a lot of issues with my health, brain tumor, stuff like that. It's coming and going, but it's not going. It's coming back.
I guess we'll find out.
We'll find out more.
Yeah.
I mean, it's back. There's nothing. It is back, and I'm having horrible migraines and all that stuff. But anyway, we're not here for that. We are not here for that. But I do want to say thank you very much for all the support and get well wishes on Instagram. That was really awesome, guys.
Was really
I
awesome.
wasn't expecting that at all. Really made me, they kind of boosted my spirits a bit. So thank you so much, everybody. That really meant a lot to me, especially since none of you guys even know me personally. But that was awesome. Thank you so much.
Here's to your health.
Oh, yeah.
There we
Let's
go.
pop that. Oh, let's pop this. Oh, there it is. Oh, that's so
nothing
good.
like healthy living, like drinking
That's
alcohol.
one that I don't know if there's any. That's gonna be one of the best sounds in the world.
It is such a satisfying sound.
Popping that top on a cold beer.
It has the great combination of the hiss of it and the
pop,
pow.
Yeah.
The pop.
It's one of the greatest sounds.
Yeah,
in the
it
world.
is a great sound.
So moving on. Again, thank you for that. But let's move on. One thing I need to talk about. Our Patreon page for you guys who are would like to support us, donate a few bucks here and there to help support the show. You can do that over on Patreon. We'd really appreciate it. And for those of you who are currently supporting us, some news for you guys. I found out recently that there was a mix-up on our Patreon page where we weren't getting the notifications or the money that our patrons or donors were donating to us, in which turn they were not getting their
Swag.
Thank you. Their swag. That has been fixed up now. So, not that you guys have been charged. Anybody who had donated, it's not like money's just going away. You never lost it. You never got charged in the first place. But now everything's fixed. So, first of the month, your cards or whatever you're using that you donate to us with will be charged, and we will get notifications, and then we will send out the swag, like Aaron says, that you guys rightfully get. So that will be coming very soon in the next few weeks. Like I said, first of the month, we should get all the information we need on that. And for anybody who's now donating or on Patreon or would like to, everything's fixed. So you can go there and donate. Would really help us out. Things are getting a little pricey over here on our end to keep this up. But anyway, it's fixed. All the swag should be coming out. No more mistakes. It's all good. Another announcement, a big announcement. This is a breaking exclusive here. Yeah, thank you.
I just love doing that crap.
Yes, that's a good one. You did very well. October 23rd, 24th, and 25th. Mark it down. No, did I say October?
August.
I have October in mind. August 23rd, 24th, and 25th. We will be at CreepyCon in Knoxville, Tennessee. We're taking the show on the road.
On the road. Heading out east
Dixieland.
Yeah.
We're getting down to Dixieland.
Close to the Smoky Mountains.
We'll be, really close to Smokies. So any fans in the area down in Tennessee, Knoxville, going to CreepyCon, would you come by and check us out? We will be there.
And if you Tennessee volunteers, come on by, see us.
And if you guys, want to take a road trip to CreepyCon, wherever you're at, take the trip to CreepyCon. Wherever
Check it out.
Check
Yeah,
it out.
so we're pretty excited. We just signed up. We're kind of getting everything, all the logistics fixed up, but we will be there.
We are going to be there. This is awesome. Like, we've done horror conventions before, but this is like our first like road trip.
On the road.
On the road.
Yeah.
Hope you'll be the first of many. We got a few others. I've put in some
Put our feelers out.
feelers out. Thank you. Put feelers out for it to try to get there. But yeah, this is really cool. So CreepyCon, end of August. Come check it out. It should be a lot of fun. So, and I think that's all the news and announcements I have. Unless there's anything you have to say, I might as well just move right on. Moving along.
Nah.
All right. So, this Devil's Reign is the movie we're doing.
Devil's Reign.
Devil's Reign. It was released in July of 1975.
So we're going back.
Back
before I was born.
Yes, before both of us were born.
Yeah.
So this terrible, crazy, wacky movie,
Whack-a-doodle.
as bad as it is, just may be one of the most important movies in horror movie history.
And why would
by
that
accident.
be? And why would that be?
We're gonna get to it when it comes up.
Okay.
We're definitely gonna talk about it, but I'm not gonna give it away yet.
Okay.
Because if they don't know, I'm not gonna spoil it. You know, you got let that marinate. You got build up to the reveal.
Got to tease a little bit.
You got to find all the balls first, and then you got to. I don't know where that came from.
I don't know, but
I don't know.
I kind of like where you're going.
So yeah, and it's by complete accident too. Not anything this movie did, but what has come from this movie.
What came out of the movie.
What came out of it is one of the most important things and iconic things in all of horror movie history. This movie is also billed as having absolutely the most incredible ending of any motion picture ever. They plastered on its cover art, on the box art, and I guess in '75, it is. I will say the ending is pretty insane.
It's something.
It is something. But yeah, that's a tall order to live up to. You better bring
most
it.
insane ending of all time.
Yeah. So it's written by Gabe Esso, James Ashton, and Gerald Hauptman. Directed by Robert Faust. He's had a lot of big things on his belt. But this movie kind of ruined him, though. He directed the Avengers TV show, the British. The British Avengers back in the 60s.
Uh-huh.
He did that. He also did Wuthering Heights, but he's probably most famous for the Vincent Price class, Dr. Fives. He did direct that, and then Dr. Fives Rises Again. He did those. But then it's funny. He did all these horror movies, and then he went on to do ABC After School Specials and CBS Children's Mystery Theater.
Sweet.
And he also did basically a porn movie later called Aphrodite. It's like a softcore porn movie.
He did horror, after school specials, and porn.
Yeah, basically porn.
Man, that's a triple threat.
Yeah.
I don't know what you'd call that. The Devil's Three-Way? Not the Devil's Three-Way, but
no, that's
I don't know.
something.
We got to come up with something for that.
But the big thing about this movie, again, that we're going to talk about, besides what its contribution was later, is this movie has an insane cast. It's an all-star cast.
It really is.
For a shitty movie that nobody really knows of. And that's like maybe the die-hard horror fans will have heard of it, know of it, but your average Joe and Treat is never going to hear this.
You got to be a pretty die-hard fan these days to go back to a 1975 obscure film.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be a hardcore fan.
Yeah. So starting off, one of our main characters, Jonathan Corbis, is played by fucking the man, award-winning actor Ernest Borgnine.
Ernest
Borgnine is in this movie. Younger listeners probably won't know who the fuck Ernest Borgnine is, but
Poseidon Adventure, that's where I recognize him from.
Yeah,
the original Poseidon Adventure.
Yeah, guy's award-winning actor. Then we have Eddie Albert, who plays Dr. Sam Richards. The guy's got 205 credits, so he's got a long list of shit. And a lot of famous things. He was in Green Acres. He was in the original Longest Yard, Escape to Witch Mountain, Kung Fu, Columbo, Murder, She Wrote, Twilight Zone. But some geeky facts, because I just came from a comic book convention before we recorded this. He was also the voice of Adrian Toomes, a.k.a. the Vulture, in the late 90s Spider-Man the Animated Series cartoon.
No shit. Cool.
Yep. And really interesting, before he became an actor, before he did acting, he was a circus trapeze flyer. He was a circus performer on the trapeze.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, very interesting.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah, this is the guy. That's where I recognize him from. It's like, oh, it's the guy from Green Acres.
Oh, I thought you were going to say a circus. But
because I'm a big connoisseur of circus performers,
yeah,
Marshall.
But Green Acres. Then we have Ida Lupino, not an American household name, but she was huge over in Great Britain and London. Big name over in England.
I'm huge in Europe.
She's over 100 credits, big name Britain. And then we have Mark Preston, played by the man, the legend. William fucking Shatner is in this movie. The Shat is in this movie. So we don't need to go in. Everybody knows who he is. Shatner speaks for himself. And then we have Lilith, played by Lisa Todd, not to be confused with Lisa Jane Todd from Bloodhook, because I almost did that. And then we have Tom Preston, played by Tom Skerritt himself. Tom Skerritt? Are you kidding me? So we have William Shatner, Ernest Borgnine, Tom Skerritt. What the fuck?
Tom Skerritt.
168 credits. Most famously known, at least for us, for Aaron and I in our generation, Viper and Top Gun and Dallas and Alien.
Yep.
Two classic 80 movies.
So we need one little cherry on top, though, to finish off this Sunday, if you will.
Yep.
This banana split of stars.
And just like the cherry on top is the smallest part of the sundae.
Oh, but it's also tasty.
But it's also tasty. Just like his part in this movie, his role. We also have fucking John Travolta.
Saturday Night Fever himself.
Fucking Scientology crazy loon. Mr. getting man meat massages. John Travolta.
Power be to Xenu.
God, power be to Xenu. Fucking John Travolta. This is his first movie ever.
His film debut. His motion picture debut.
So just like George Clooney, both of them getting started in...
Yeah.
He joins George Clooney and Johnny Depp as
Kevin Bacon
as
Jennifer Aniston.
Jennifer Aniston was in Leprechaun. Yeah. As giant stars who made their debuts in
horror movies. Yeah.
So yeah.
So guys, gals,
just an insane cast for this movie.
People who are cutting their teeth in the world of acting, don't be afraid of horror.
Don't be afraid. It can open the doors to a lot of shit.
It sure can. Pretty incredible.
I mean, I think after this he wanted to do Grease, like almost pretty soon after this movie.
Was it Grease?
I think so.
I thought Grease was in the 80s. Anyway,
I thought Grease was like 78 or something.
I don't know. Dude, I watched Grease once when I was sick in like 88 on TNT.
So all right, it's just an insane cast. I still can't get over the cast.
It's pretty bonkers.
It's bonkers. And but the movie's so bad. It's a great cast, but such a bad movie.
You almost did that Shatner-esque. The movie's so bad. He almost had that stop-start style,
which he does. Shatner in this movie is basically playing Kirk, and just that
Shatner style.
It's just Shatner, yeah.
It's just that stop-start style.
So the movie, we open with these credits playing over some really old paintings. These paintings look like stuff you see coming out like the Renaissance time or so. They're also fucking strange as hell. They remind me very much of like Salvador Dali's work at some point. Very
I tried surreal. I've seen this before. I've seen like people study this work. It's like a depiction of hell.
It's all the paintings we see, they depict scenes of devils and Judgment Day, along with people being tortured and killed by devils and demons.
Some guy shitting money.
Thank you. I think I swear the last
it's hard. They focus in on this guy's asshole.
You made so blink because my very next note, I do something. The weirdest images of Saw, it was also might be my favorite, is the naked bent over guy shitting gold coins out of his ass into a pit.
Yep.
When there's a guy in a pit looking up at the gold coins coming out of the guy's ass. It's an insane image, but they really kind of zoom in on that.
I really like that shot.
But all these paintings are we see are done by a guy named Hieronymus Bosch. Now, Hieronymus Bosch is probably not a household name when it comes to art and painting. He was born in 1450 in the Netherlands, died in 1516. This is your educational moment, guys, by the way. It's been a while. Very little known about his life, but he became well known for his fantastic illustrations of religious concepts and narratives, aka, as seen here in these opening credits. His pessimistic and fantastical style cast a wide influence of Northern art during the 16th century. Today, he is seen as a hugely individualistic painter with deep insight into humanity's desires and deepest fears. Attribution of his work has been especially difficult today. Only about 25 paintings are confidently given to his hand, along 8 drawings, and approximately another half dozen paintings are confidently attributed to his workshop. So not much of his stuff is really left around, but this guy was, for a while, a big deal in the art world, especially in Northern Europe.
Yeah, 1500s. I mean, it's going to be hard for that stuff to survive. And depictions of like what people admire most, like shitting coins on your ass. I sure wish I could do that. Dude, one of my deepest desires is to shit money.
It really is. That's like the best image of all. Like, there's some crazy things, people getting tortured and killed, but the guy just bent over a pit, shitting out gold coins. Like, that is like one of the best images I've seen ever. Like, that's hilarious.
Let's end on a high note. Podcast
Yeah,
over.
Podcast over. Who needs any more?
Good night.
Fuck the rest of the movie. Just watch it for the credits, see that image, and turn it off. Your life will be complete. So also during this incredibly long credit sequence,
It is long.
They really love to they hammer home the fact that this is another reason why this movie is insane, is that Anton LaVey was the technical advisor for this film. A fact that at the time the filmmakers were very proud of. They were
very
now,
proud of this.
for those of you who don't know the name Anton LaVey or know who he is, he was the founder and high priest of the Church of Satan.
The modern day Church of Satan.
Yes. Which they also make mention of in the credits too. He's technical advisor, Church of Satan, blah blah blah. So like they were going crazy. The fact that they got this guy.
Giddy as schoolgirls. They got a real deal Satanist.
Yep. So once the credits are finally over and they go on for a while, we go to the Preston house where we meet a worried Mrs. Preston who's looking out a window into the night thunderstorm at night.
Yeah, massive thunderstorm.
We also meet this elderly man named John, who I can't tell if he's Indian, Asian, or a weird mixture of complete. He's a
Aborigine.
Yeah.
Who fucking knows? But he's walking up to her. He's like, "Hey, you want some tea?" Oh,
I don't know what this guy's role. Is he a family friend? Is he the butler?
I think he's kind of like a caregiver of the land. Yeah, because you find out
it's a really weird relation. I don't understand what his role in his family is at all.
The thing is, at this opening scene, he seems pretty sharp and with it.
Yeah,
he
brings Mrs. Preston some tea. In comes her son Mark, played by the Shatner himself, who's been out looking.
Shat himself.
Who's been out apparently looking for the father who has gone missing. They end up getting into an argument about nightmares the mother's having night after night after night, and she's like, "Oh, they're visions and night whatever."
And Shatner doesn't seem convinced. He's just like, this is annoying.
So they start hearing a dog bark. They go outside. This takes them outside, and Steve, who I think is the father/husband, comes around the corner of the house.
Yeah, it was very unclear exactly who this guy was.
Yeah, all I know is his name's Steve.
Yeah, the beginning of the movie, they drop you right in the middle of a huge plot point.
Yes.
So right off the bat, you're kind of confused, and you're like, what's going on?
Yeah, I have more of that. I can comment on that myself
but
in a little bit.
That's
myself.
Right off the bat.
Yeah.
You're starting kind of confused, and you're feeling like you're being dropped in the middle of a major plot point.
Yeah.
And around comes Steve, and he's either the father
or the
husband,
or just somebody. Or that's the only thing I can assume of is he's the father husband. And he's all sorts of fucked up looking.
Yeah.
He has no eyes whatsoever, just black, empty sockets where his eyes should be.
Yeah.
And his face looks like it's starting to melt off.
Stretched.
Steve says something about a man named Corbus who's out in the desert and something about a book. The family knows the name Corbus and who he is. Steve tells him, give Corbus what he wants. And then he falls to the ground where he continues to melt like a wax candle.
Proceeds to melt.
Just melts. Yeah.
And everyone seems
kind of okay with this.
Pretty much like, huh. And they're like, that's not Steve.
Yeah. So the mother then says something in Latin about Satan or something like that. And then it's like, that wasn't your father. And so I'm like, are they Satanists then too? Because at this point, it's still never really made 100% clear what they are. But it's like,
no.
She says something in Latin like hail Satan or about Satan.
Yes.
And then it's like, what? But
praise Satan. Yeah.
Then she's like, don't give Corbus the book. And like, but if you're Satanist and Corbin's the Satanist, like you guys are like the same team. Like,
shouldn't you be bosom buddies?
Yeah. It's like, I have no idea what the relationship. It makes zero sense. You never get an answer really. You never really do. So because if that's like I said, if that's the case, it makes this movie even more nonsense. It's more confusing and all that. Anyway, Steve melts down to a puddle of goo basically, and the other three people go back inside the house.
Yeah, tease on.
Yeah, the mother pulls.
We just saw your father melt.
But like, whatever.
Go back. It's coming down pretty hard out here.
I guess it's just his time. I guess it's time to melt.
They seem really calm about this.
Really calm about it. The mother pulls out this large black book from like a hiding spot underneath a floorboard
in the old hidey hole, and
tells Shatner to take it to Corbus. Shatner refuses. Instead, he pulls out a gun from a desk and says, "I'm going to do it my way."
I know.
I'm gonna do it my way.
Yeah. Not bad. That's pretty good.
So he places the book back in the hiding hole. The mother gives him a giant, gaudy, cheap-looking amulet that looks like this giant piece of crappy plastic.
Dude, I don't even think rappers would wear this.
No.
Like, it's so big and gaunt. It's gigantic. I mean, I've seen some rappers wear some giant chains.
Yeah.
But this is ridiculous.
But at least theirs is like real gold or metal. Like, this thing looked like plastic and like...
It's really like...
It's supposed to be gold,
like a
but...
dirty gold.
Yeah, it does. It looks
it can
real
be,
bad.
Yeah.
It looks like something like... You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of... like when Halloween time comes around, you go to the Halloween stores. I bought one of these things myself, by the way, but because years ago in college, one of my Halloween costumes was I was going as the dead priest from The Exorcist who gets thrown out the window.
Oh yeah,
because I like shards of glass thing on my face was all bloody. And I needed a priest outfit, so I needed to go get a crucifix. And I went to the Halloween store, and it's like this giant. Oversized
yeah.
plastic. And that's what it looked like. It reminded me like that. It should be right next to those oversized plastic crucifix you find at a Halloween store.
It was the fancy version.
The fancy, but it wasn't a crucifix. It was like this weird amulet thing.
Yeah,
but it looked like that's the type of quality it looked like.
Yeah.
So, basically, the mom gives him the amulet and says, "As long as you wear this, Corbus can't hurt you." So, like I said, and this is what you were talking about. Like, at this point, we're 10 minutes into the movie, and I have zero fucking clue as what the hell is going on. There's zero exposition or background information as who these people are, who Corbus is, why Corbus is after them and this book, and what the hell the amulet is and where it's from. And like we also, and I also put can we talk about how pretty fucking calm they were and relatively unfazed about them watching Steve melt like a wax candle in front of them? But they are, and that's it's so you're like, what the fuck is going on? You have no idea.
That's how we start.
That is the start of this just gem of a movie.
And we're already mixed up.
Yeah.
Really mixed up.
Really mixed up. So a truck pulls up outside. Shatner suddenly has a smile on his face and says he's here. You know, he's like, he's here. And he goes outside to the truck. I'm like, who's here?
Exactly.
Who the fuck's he? Who's he? We don't know. When he goes out the truck, opens the driver's side door, finds the truck empty, but there's like this small, like, voodoo wax figure on the steering wheel. I'm like, okay, what, huh? And then that's when we hear the sounds of the mother screaming coming from inside the house. He looks back at the house, and now the house is gone like ape shit.
Yeah, like lights are turning on and off.
There's sounds like dishes breaking, furniture smashing, lights are going on and off in the windows. All the windows are flashing, and it's just like a shit show going on now. But instead of running and charging back into the house to help his mom, he kind of takes a sweet ass time. He's like, all right, I guess I gotta go help my mom.
Damn it, Mom.
Because he does like, oh shit, I gotta go help. He's like, all right.
He seems really, but still, he doesn't take that long a time because he runs in there, and when he gets in, the place is completely destroyed.
Yeah, like,
turned upside down, and there's no evidence of anybody there.
The amount of time from when he starts, the shit hits the wall, and by the time he runs in there,
30 seconds.
It's maybe 30 seconds, yeah. But the level of destruction in this house looks like it's been going on for like a half an hour.
Off the charts.
It's off the charts.
Even so much they strung up old John.
Yes, thank you. He opens the front door and finds John hanging upside down. Not just hanging, but upside down.
Upside down, hung up by his ankles
from ropes.
And this is where John turns into a fucking invalid.
Yes!
Because before he was like with it, sharp, saw Steve melt, was like, okay, you guys do your thing. And all of a sudden he's hanging upside down going,
he's squealing like a little girl. Or like Bunsen? Beaker from the Muppets.
From the Muppets.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, that's exactly what he sounds like. And so Shatner cuts him down, and he holds him in his arms. Like he's cradling just old man John's arms.
Looks off into the distance.
And he's calling out for his mom, and John's just like, your mother's gone. But he doesn't say, he's like, your mother's gone.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest thing. Like, he goes from toy to like a little sniveling girl. It's so drastic.
But this is where Shatner's holding him?
I know, and I think Shatner has like, I swear at this point I'm like wondering like,
but he does kind of. He goes, Corbus. He's like, he's warming up because this is before the Star Trek movies, so he's kind of getting warmed up towards Khan.
He's
Corbus.
Was it before the movies?
This was before the movies.
It wasn't before the show, for sure.
No, this was before the movies. The movies were in the first one was in 79.
This another maybe iconic moment in movie history. Not just horror movie, but led up to the famous Khan one. Because maybe that's when he did Khan. He reflected back on this and like, oh yeah, I can draw on that. Because instead of Khan, he does. He goes, Corbus! It's awesome. I will say it is.
The only reason it's awesome is because it's William Shatner.
Yeah, that's the only reason. If anybody else, like, who the fuck cares? But seeing Shatner lose it like that and do the Khan only for Corbus is amazing. He looks around the house, which has been totally smashed up and torn up. He goes back, takes the book and the amulet out from the hidey hole, and then he leaves. And he's like, fuck helping John. Nope, he just leaves.
Yeah.
Leaves bloody, messed up John all alone, and he just goes off to do whatever. He's just out. So we cut to Shatner now out in the middle of the fucking desert. He gets out of his car, puts on the amulet, gets back in his car, and drives off. And I'm like, what a waste of time to film that. Like, really? You couldn't just have him put that on in the car. Like, he goes to the car, puts the amulet on, then gets in and drives off. Why would he... Why actually waste film to show him driving, pull over, get out of the car, put the amulet on, get back in the car, and drive away again?
Sure.
It's the biggest waste of a scene, I think,
you notice
ever.
when he left, it's daytime.
No, he left at night.
It's dry. Everything's completely
now
dry.
It is,
I don't know. It was just the continuity.
There's a lot of those
There's
issues.
a lot of continuity issues.
Yeah, but he left in the middle of a thunderstorm, and now it's like everything's bright, sunny, and
perfect.
Happy. Also, the cowboy hat Shatner wearing looks like 2 sizes small for his head in this movie. Just a side note.
Snug fit.
It's a very snug fit. Yeah. So next comes lots of boring driving through the desert shots.
Lots of driving through the desert. And did you notice that he has a big P on the side of his car?
I was going to come to that. Yes, I did.
P for Preston?
I'm guessing, but I had to... Because when you notice when he comes to this ghost town, like straight out of the Old West ghost town.
Ghost town.
And when he gets out of the car, on the side of his door, he has this black P. And I guess it's for President, but it's not a coat of arms. It's not like a logo. It looks like a company logo.
Yes, it looks like a funky kind of like Three's Company-esque kind of P.
What first thing that popped in my mind was the Pinterest P. Only it's black instead of red. I thought Pinterest was the first thing I thought of.
Not bad.
Because for other reasons, I don't like being on Pinterest, but I have to be for right now. But yeah, I was like, that's really weird. And another thing, like, okay, do they own a company? Is this a company car? Who drives around with a P on their car? Like, Preston? Or is this supposed to be
petroleum? It almost looks like an oil company standard issue car or something.
Why would they have a logo on their car? Like, it's never made. Like, are these guys bigwigs in this area? Are they oil?
There's not a lot around there.
I mean, we'd see some ranch. We see some cows. Are they big ranchers?
Maybe. Maybe it's just like you know who it is when they're coming up. It's like, that's the Prestons.
Like, it's just
who knows?
It's just so weird.
Yeah, it was strange.
So here he gets out of the car and Corbus is just there. So which is a shock to him. Like, oh, there's Ernest Borgnine. I'm like, wait a minute. That's Corbus? He's just there waiting for him? Like,
yeah, he just comes.
There's no big reveal, no climax. Like, oh, here comes the big bad guy of the movie. The dude's just like hanging out. Like,
and he seems pretty nice.
And it's not like Shatner's like, oh, God, Corbus, I'm going to get you. He's like, hey, what's up? Long time no see. How you doing?
Need some water? Here you go, buddy.
Like, no, I'm okay. Like, it's the weird, it's such an odd, weird scene. Like, nothing you would think they'd be hate. Like, you just killed my mother and father, blah blah blah. Or you kicked my mom, you strung up John, or whatever. It's like, you're like, hey, how you doing? It's the most cordial, like, calm. How you doing, buddy? It's so weird.
It's awkward.
It is awkward.
It's a really awkward scene.
And it's like, why is Corbus just hanging out in a ghost town? Again, never explained.
Nope.
Where did he come from? He's just there. How did Shatner know he was gonna be there? Like,
anyway,
it's so nothing makes sense. So Corbus wants to know about the book and where the book is, and then so basically what happens, they have a conversation, is that they agree to have a challenge of faith,
a test of faith.
Shatner's faith versus Corbus's faith. Shatner says that he will face whatever Corbus has behind the doors of Corbus's boarded up old church, which they end up going
And
to.
if Shatner wins, Mom comes home.
Yes.
If Corbus wins, he gets the book, and you.
Yes. And he's like, I'll come out the same man as I was when I went in. So he's like, Corbus, all right, come on in. And
Man, Corbus is smiley. He is a happy-looking motherfucker. He is. Ernest Borgnine sure does look happy.
Yo, he does. I'm sorry. I was reading my notes. I
got a
had
stunned look
typo.
on your face.
Yeah, I had a typo. Yeah, he's like, come on in. Let's see what you put your faith in and blah, blah, blah. So yeah.
And he goes, I put my faith in this. Yeah. And I thought he pulled out a cross or the amulet.
Nope.
It's a fucking gun.
It's a fucking gun.
I put my faith in this. And the NRA folks are going,
yeah! Oh, God.
Ugh.
So, yeah, and like Aaron said just a minute ago, if you didn't catch it, basically it was that if Shatner wins, he gets his mother and father back, which is weird because then we just see his father melt. Which is another reason, like, who the fuck is Steve? And Stevie, and the mom even says, that wasn't your father. So then what is happening? Who is who in this movie? We don't fucking know. Anyway, Sherry's like, I'll get my mom and father back if I win. If not, Corbus like, I get you and the book and blah, blah, blah. So they enter the old boarded up church. Corbus tells them to take a seat, that the service will begin shortly. And then dozens of black robed, hooded people start filling the pews, chanting in satanic Latin.
And we are in a church of Satan.
We are in a church of Satan.
We're in the church of Satan. We see the stained glass windows with a goat's head present.
Pentagram and the goat's head.
The pentagram. The altar has a reverse cross, an upside down cross, inverted cross.
Inverted, yeah.
And, Corbus steps off screen, comes back in full red robe glory.
Yep. Everybody else is wearing black, and he wears red robes. Now, like I said, they're chanting like this satanic Latin language, and the funny thing, this chanting language was actually that they're doing is actually a made-up language by Anton LaVey. It's like his Satanist, but is actually used in the Church of Satan, and it's kind of interesting. Because I watched this movie on Blu-ray. We watched it on Blu-ray. And I was watching some of the bonus features.
Yeah, me too.
And there were some really, really cool facts about it. And I love the bonus features. I didn't get time to watch it with the commentary on, which I really wanted to do. But the other bonus features were cool. But they were saying, and during these scenes, Anton LaVey would be, off stage, or, in between shoots, they'd be, have, cue cards with this chanting on it. And he'd be, lead, okay, this is how you say this one, this is how you say this. And he's and he'd, lead into this satanic chant. He's
God.
Here's how it goes. And okay, but yeah. So
we need to be accurate with our satanic rituals here.
You better believe if you're gonna get the head of the Church of Satan to be your technical advisor, you better goddamn right be accurate. So like Aaron said, Corbus shows up in the red robes. The church service starts, and most priests, especially Catholic or Lutheran or Christian, they make the cross with their fingers up in the air. Well, they do a version. Corbus does that only instead of he rocks the devil horn,
the devil horns,
the pinky and index finger out, the devil horn, and he has it out, and instead of doing a cross, he does a pentagram in the air with his heavy metal or his rock out devil horns going.
It's pretty awesome.
It is pretty awesome. Shatner begins to recite the Lord's Prayer while Corbus leads his congregation in basically the Satanist version of the Lord's Prayer. So it's they're dueling Lord's Prayers. Shatner then decides he's had enough, stands up, interrupting the service, and starts shouting out things like, "In the name of God, I'm Mark Preston. Deliver me from evil." I'm like, what? Again, so is the name, again, Mark Preston, is this supposed to carry weight in this universe?
I don't think so, but
I'm Mark Preston!
I just think he was just stating his name, just saying that he believes in this faith. But it's like, this basically boils down to the battle is who can pray louder.
Yeah.
That's your test of faith is who's louder. Well, Ernest has got a whole fucking crew with them.
A whole congregation.
Corbus has got a crew. How is he going to even compare to this? And he's just going, I believe in God. Deliver me from evil. Blah, blah, blah. I'm William Shatner.
Corbus starts, it's like the old Battle of the Banjos, music piece. They start, the Battle of the Prayers because Corbus counters Shatner's remarks, then gestures over to one of his hooded figures. Shatner turns to look and sees his mother stand up, now wearing the black robes. Her eyes are also now gone, just black empty
eye holes.
The mother pretty much says, "Hey, it's all good now. Everything's good. I found peace, happiness here. Everything's great. Oh, by the way, they left a spot for you here. Why don't you come join us over here and we'll hang out for a while?" Yeah. She's like, "Hey, come join us, Shatner." And she offers them her hand. Shatner refuses, begins to back away towards the doors.
And he seems to be breaking.
Now all the other hooded figures stand up and start reaching out for Shatner, trying to grab him. Corbus says something like, see whose faith is greater now, something along those lines. Shatner then pulls out his gun.
And this is where his real faith lies.
It just shoots a guy. Just like,
yeah, they just
pulls out a gun and shoots a guy.
Some poor schmuck just standing there.
Shot. He shoots one of the hooded guys. And now, I thought this gun fired paintballs because the bullets, as soon as they hit the guy, instead of bleeding blood, instead of like reddish blood, we get like orangish and greenish paint popping out from his bullet wound.
Yeah.
It's really strange.
I kind of had like a purpley pinky one look, I guess.
Mine was like orangish and
it's
green.
Just goo coming.
Yeah, it's the weird. It's what?
Multicolored goo coming out of him.
I was like, what the fuck? Like, okay, now these people aren't even human. Like, I get Vulcan. Like, fucking Spock bleeds blue. And speaking of bleeding blue, fucking A, St. Louis, Stanley Cup champions. Fuck yeah, bleeding blue all over the place. Go Blues. Play Gloria. All right, enough of that. Let's go back. So yeah, weird ass blood coming out of these people. It's blew me away too.
Yeah,
so,
and but he falls down dead.
He falls over dead. He's done. He's dead. Corbus just looks at Shatner and says, like, is that your faith? Shatner drops his gun for some retarded reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why. He fired like 2 shots, so he has at least like 4 more if it's a revolver. More if it's not. I think it was a revolver. I don't remember. But he's like, fuck it. Just drops the gun. And
yeah, and it seems like the crowd
leaves.
is like swarming around him. But instead, like, it looks like they have him fucking dead to rights.
Yeah.
And they're, like, all swarming around him, and he just kind of goes, and, like, slaps away at their hands, and they're all like, ew, ow, ooh, ow. Yeah. And they all scoot away. They had him fucking cornered. And he just slaps his way out of there.
Drops the gun and slaps his way out. And again, so ass backwards way of getting out.
That's exactly how he did it.
So Corbus and his congregation kind of foul him out of the church. Outside, there's more hooded figures now just waiting around in their heavy black robes in the hot desert sun.
It's like, hey, what's up, man?
I mean, so this is like out in like New Mexico, Arizona. Like, I think it's New Mexico.
I think it's filmed in
Mexico. That's right. It's supposed to be New Mexico.
Yeah.
It's filmed in Mexico. I mean, you can tell it's got to be ass fucking hot there. You got these guys just chilling in black heavy robes in the middle of noonday sun.
Commitment, baby.
Yeah. So Shatner tells Corbus that he's still free and holds up the amulet. He's like, I'm still free. You didn't get me. Corbus uses his magic and turns the amulet into a snake. Shatner throws the snake on the ground, and as soon as it hits the ground, it turns back into an amulet. Shatner then falls to his knees.
Sure.
Okay, but why? But he does. Falls to his knees and tries to crawl over to the amulet.
Like Army crawls over, and as he's trying to get it, one of the goons like steps on his hand.
Yeah.
Why doesn't he just slap his leg away?
Considering
he slapped his way out of an entire crowded church.
But why crawl in the first place?
Yes.
Just walk over to it. Like, you didn't throw it. Like,
it's right there.
It's right there. It's like he threw like a fucking football like 40 yards downfield. He took it off his leg and basically dropped it on. It's maybe
like
3-4 feet away.
5 feet away. Yeah.
5 feet at most.
Right.
And but he drops his knees and crawls. Like, dude, just take 2 steps to your right and pick it up.
What are you doing, Shatner?
Yeah.
You're embarrassing yourself.
He really
You're
is.
fucking William Shatner. Come on.
So Shatner then gets up, rushes back to his car while he's starting to get surrounded by the hooded people. He gets to his car. The hooded guy.
There's a hooded guy sitting shotgun. Or sitting in the car. He's sitting in the driver's seat. But he's not looking threatening at all.
No, he's just sitting there.
Shatner opens the door and he's like, hello. He's just sitting there. Shatner just goes, and closes the door. He doesn't grab him and throw him out. Nope. He doesn't try to fight his way in. He's just like, occupied.
Yeah. It's like...
It's so weird.
The dude in the car just sitting. He's probably just trying to get out of the hot fucking sun. He's like, I just want some shade. He's just sitting there all calm.
Hey man, I got the air running. Come on in.
He's like, fuck. It's like, I guess he's trying to hail a cab. Like, you find open doors. Oh, someone's already in the cab. He's like, move on. So he says, fuck. He leaves his car, and so Shatner just drops back to the ground again. He just falls to the ground again as the hooded dudes surround him. Corbus stands over him and says, soon the family named Preston will be no more. And now we cut to some medical school somewhere.
That's a hard cut.
Where we meet Dr. Sam Richards giving like a lecture / presentation to like an audience of other doctors or something. His patient
students or something.
His patient / volunteer is Julie Preston. So on the stage with him is Julie's husband, Tom Skirt, who's also character's named Tom.
Tom Preston.
Tom Preston, who's also a doctor.
Yeah, so we have the Prestons.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these are... So I guess he's married to her, I guess.
So technically Julie isn't a Preston by blood.
Well, but not by blood.
Well, I'm saying the whole point of this movie is like the Preston family. Like you'll get to the Preston family line, the blood of the Preston.
Well,
she's not a Preston.
She's getting thrown in the group then.
But the ending, it makes no sense then
well,
because it doesn't. She's not a Preston.
According to Marge Simpson, when I took your father's name, I took everything, including DNA.
Like it does. Yeah, it doesn't make the ending makes zero sense when you stop thinking she's not a Preston. So they're talking about how they're near a breakthrough in discovering the brain waves that control ESP. During this scene, another doctor comes in and gives Tom Skirt a note, which seems to trouble him after reading it. Julie starts talking about how she feels during her monologue.
Yeah, she's like in such deep meditative state, essentially, that she can somewhat sense what's happening in the future or past. She has like
I didn't get any of this. I was like, what the fuck happened?
Loose psychic powers that she has, but she can focus herself to such a degree that she can see flashes of things that may be or will be the past.
Is that what it is? During this point, I was like, I don't know what the fuck she's talking about. It
kind of reminded me of, do you remember in Lord of the Rings when they go to the Balrog just killed Gandalf and they go to the elves. Yeah. And then, the ones, saying, look into this pool, and it was, some things...
Galadriel.
Yes, Galadriel saying, look into the pool, some things that have been, some things that will be, and some things that have not yet passed.
Yeah.
It's the same type of mumbo-jumbo, oogly-boogly stuff.
There's nothing else. I have nothing better compared to, because I was like, what the fuck is she talking about? But anyway, during her monologue, we get several spliced in shots of the Satan occultist, the Satanist.
Yeah.
She rambles on for a long time. And then for no reason, just screams.
And everyone's just like, all right.
She's like, and she saw people like, yeah, this is happening, blah, blah, everything's great. And then she's like, ah! Like, what? Where'd that come from? And then Skirt says something's happened to his family, and that's it. We cut to Skirt now talking to some local sheriff out in the desert.
Sheriff Badass. Did you see that fucking muscle car he has I don't know shit about cars, but that was not a standard issue police car.
It was not a standard
because
issue.
That was like a fucking 70s Charger. It was a badass car.
Dr. Smokey, the bandit. Dr. Smokey Man.
Yeah.
So basically, Skirt's trying to get the sheriff out, and the sheriff's like, nope, I'm too busy.
Well, he's like, hey man, someone obviously... Because they're at the Preston home.
Is that what they are?
Yeah, they're at their Preston home, and he's saying, look inside. Look how fucking fucked up everything is. And he's like, you think the storm did that? And the sheriff's like, yeah, I think the storm did it.
Sure, so inside the house, sure it did. But he does say, like, oh, people are, the floods and the rains, like, block out bridges. Like, I got to help them first.
The police are occupied with dealing with that big storm they had, and they can't spare any men to help look for William Shatner and his mom.
Yeah. So a sheriff drives off, he leaves, and as soon as he leaves, old man John pops up again, looking right as rain.
But he's like an invalid now. He's like, I don't know what's happening. It's like he went from being sharp to being like, just like debilitated Alzheimer's patient out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But he got roughed up, and all of a sudden he just, God, what happened?
I don't know. Again, nothing is ever explained. Skirt tells him that Dr. Richards will be coming and to tell Richards everything that's happened here so far, and that
Richards, tell him.
That's kind of like Jimmy Stewart.
But he's just he goes from being functional to just like trying to remember simple instructions and struggling.
Like he probably can't even tie his shoe anymore or something.
Right.
But anyway, then Tom and Julie they
leave that old fuck.
Everybody's just leaving John alone.
Yeah.
At this point, he's probably not capable of being alone anymore. Yeah. So now we cut to Shatner tied up, being tortured by Corbus, who wants to know where the book is. Shatner now has like this pentagram burned into or onto his chest.
This is where we get a topless Shat.
Shatner's pretty much topless from here on out.
And that's okay with me. Hot dog.
Not getting the answers he wants from Shatner, Corbus changes gears and tries a different approach. He starts trying to like smooth talk and like
yeah.
he's like
so
instead of like torture, he's like, hey, guess what? tell me what you want, because you know what? The torments of hells, they're not that bad. You don't have to worry about them, because you're my boy.
Yeah.
You might go to hell, but you're gonna be with me. I got you. You're gonna be the VIP section. You don't have to worry about. You don't have to be worried about.
I got backstage passes.
Yeah,
to
you're
move
not gonna be getting red hot spikes shoved your ass.
Yeah.
You're not getting that. No, you're gonna be cool.
Got backstage passes to Lucifer's after party.
Yeah, you're behind the velvet rope. You're gonna be on the good side.
Yeah.
That's basically what he's doing.
Bottle service all night.
Yeah, and then this even sweeten the pot even more. He brings out Lilith, who is called the Queen of Delights.
The Queen of Delights.
I laughed. I was like, what?
I know.
That's like the Queen of Delights.
Lilith, the Queen of Delights.
I want like Queen of Lust, the Queen of Desire, or something like that. Queen of Delights. Like, what?
Yeah, it's like
that's like the worst thing I've ever.
I know, it's like
so bad.
It's so PG.
Yeah.
It's so PG. It sounds like the Queen of Delights might be some lady who's really good at making ice cream sundaes.
That's exactly what I mean. I delights like cupcakes and rainbows, and
I'm like, ooh, I sure like gumdrops.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. I was like, I get Lilith she was like the first like female devil or something like that. The Lilith name is like historically biblical. So I get that, but Queen of Delights is just the worst thing I've heard. Anyway, so this Lilith walks up, she walks up to Shatner and just starts making out with him.
She looks like a rough stripper, like a rough 70s style stripper.
So
it looks like she's been smoking a pack a day for at least 20 years.
And so she bends over because Shatner's kind of like laid down. She has to bend down, so she starts making them. But when she stands back up and pulls away from Shatner, she's now changed from Lilith to his eyeless mother. So he's what?
And Shatner cannot handle that.
I don't blame him for that one.
That's when they turn him upside down. He goes, "Wah!"
So Corbus keeps calling during this whole thing. This gets really confusing too, because it's been well established that he's Mark. I'm Mark Preston. Preston.
There's even a P on the side of his goddamn car.
Exactly. But for this entire scene, almost the entire movie, Corbus is calling Shatner Martin Fife, even though his name is Mark Preston. So now they're like, who the fuck is Martin Fife? What happened to Mark Preston? Did the writers shit the bed at this point? Did they forget their own characters' names? Like, you get so confused of what the hell is going on. So then we see that Shatner's been chained upside down on a cross, which gets propped up, leaving him hanging upside down.
Hence the awesome scream.
Yeah. And Shatner, he starts screaming like a fucking madman. Just it's amazing. We cut back to Tom Skirt and Julie arriving at the Old West ghost town. He gets out of the car, looks around a bit, gets back in, and drives off. I'm like, gee, I'm so glad we saw that in this movie. Like, really? Like, are you kidding me? Like, so they drive away. The camera pans up on a rocking chair that's rocking by itself on a porch. Sticking out from one of the armrests is a knife. And the only funny thing worth mentioning about this scene is that you can so clearly see the fishing wire that they tied around the knife to use to make the chair rock from off screen. Because
I didn't notice
you didn't see it?
No.
Oh my God. It's like the sun glares off the fishing wire. It's like a sunburst. Right?
I must have missed it.
Yeah, the fishing wire reflects the sunlight as you see it pulling on the chair, making it rock. So now Tom and Julie pull up in front of this old church, the same old church we've seen before. And this time when Tom gets out of the car, he has a rifle with him.
Yeah, nice shotgun.
I didn't think it was a shotgun. I thought it was just a rifle. Okay, whatever.
Doesn't matter, really.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Julie mentions that she's seen a church like this in New England and it doesn't belong here. And like, really?
I'm like,
come on, really? It looks like every other church we've seen in any other old.
This doesn't have any specific type of architectural prowess. It's a fucking dusty old church in the middle of nowhere.
This is the exact type of church you expect to see in an old ghost town. It's just an old wooden white painted church.
And even if it is technically modeled after the style of out in the New England area,
which makes sense because that's where they came from.
Yes, so fucking be it. Don't be such a bitch.
I know.
This doesn't belong here.
Like, honestly, it makes perfect sense because all the people from the West came from the East and would have brought their style with them. Like, every old Western movie I've ever seen had a church like this in it. Like, there's nothing about the church that stands out that makes it look any different than anything else. It's the stupidest thing to say.
It seems pretty silly.
So they go inside the church. It's empty. On the altar, they find a large knife, and she finds a bunch of melted wax on the cross. At least I think it's supposed to be wax.
Yeah.
Tom finds Shatner's shirt on the ground, and written on in bright red puffy paint is Preston.
Preston.
I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be blood, but it looks like bright red puffy paint.
Yeah, and it's okay. Like,
again, like what? Who did that? Like who?
Yeah,
because we see him and he's tied up on a cross,
shirt off, tortured, and it's like, is it the Satanist way of saying, well, let's not forget whose shirt this is?
We got labeled
Preston.
Like seriously, who took the time to write his name on the shirt in blood? Like really?
You ever have your mom write your name in like your clothes when you went to camp?
Yeah,
you know, it's like this. It's like, we don't want to lose this shirt, Preston. Well,
it's so weird. Like seriously, who took the time to do that and why?
We're not thieves. We keep inventory. just with blood.
That's when they hear an explosion from outside. They rush outside and find that their car is now on fire.
Cars exploded.
The car just exploded.
Boom,
just gone. And then they nearly get run down by the Pinterest car, or the Preston Pinterest. Yeah. That comes speeding in from off screen.
Dude, who is this guy? He's tearing ass. Drives by.
Tom shoots at the car. Goes to the back windshield. The car crashes into one of the buildings, and a cowboy gets out and runs inside.
Yeah.
Like, not a hooded guy you've seen, like, oh no, just a straight up cowboy. Cowboy boots, denim jeans, boots, denim shirt, and a cowboy hat.
He is not decked out in the black robe, so we're like, okay, who's this?
Yeah, straight up cowboy.
They run up to the car, look in the car, check it, and my first instinct is, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Your car just exploded. Someone tried to run you over the car.
Yeah.
You find a blood-covered shirt. Go get help.
Yeah, that's
Leave.
a great point.
You got a car now. Get the fuck out of here. You got the Preston Mobile.
Yeah, the Preston Mobile. It's you get that shit and go.
Fucking bail. Nope.
Nope. So yeah, Tom and Julie give chase and follow the cowboy into like the old, I guess, hotel / bar. Saloon. Yeah. Saloon looking thing. And at this point, I had to ask, why in the hell would Tom bring his fucking wife with him in the first place? I mean, seriously, why would you endanger her life and put her in any kind of harm's way by bringing her instead of letting her just stay at home where she would be safe? Like, hey, honey, my family's in danger, probably from a Satanist cult, knowing my family history. I gotta go. Hey, why don't you come along? It'll be a great family trip.
She does have ESPN. That's such a like grandpa joke.
Yeah.
But she does have some sort of powers.
Really? Because she never fucking uses it.
Well, they give you the impression that she does.
Again, never comes in handy. Doesn't do shit. Anything, she's just in the way.
I was waiting for some sort of like.
I mean, it would make sense if she was like
something
trained, like fucking Black Widow or something like that. That'd be great. Hey, you can kick ass. Sure, come on. But she's pretty much a fucking helpless, useless person.
It's like
this entire movie.
Escort mission in a video game.
It is an escort mission.
Yes.
It's that fucking escort mission that you hate.
Yes.
Everybody hates those.
Oh.
Escort this useless person around town.
No one likes those.
No one.
Ugh. Stop doing that, gamer community creators things. Sorry.
But God, yeah, she's just so useless. Like, why is she even here? So Tom then slowly sneaks up the stairs looking for the cowboy. The cowboy hunt lingers on for a while.
It's like a cat and mouse kind of thing.
Yeah, it is.
You hear him in one room, he runs over, and he runs to another. Yeah.
Tom comes to a locked door. He's about to kick it open when the cowboy bursts out from a different room, attacks Tom. And I'm pretty sure the cowboy's opening maneuver was a swift kick to Tom's junk.
It was.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
The old dick kick.
They struggle and have one of the worst fight scenes ever seen in a movie history.
Oh, it's bad.
So atrocious. Oh, and by the way, this cowboy is John Travolta.
Yes.
It's really hard to tell that it is him, though, but it's him.
I remember seeing it, I was like, is that Johnny T? Is that Johnny T?
That's Johnny T. Tom gets the upper hand on Travolta. Julie goes to hand him some rope, but
rope?
where'd you get the rope from? Where'd that come from?
ESP.
But then she just goes into like a trance-like state, and Tom asks her what she sees, and this is where we see that Travolta is also one of the eyeless people now. He's eyeless, which again, by the way, doesn't seem to bother Tom and Julie at all. That they did the kind of guy who has no eyes.
Yeah,
not like. You see, like, people with eye patches, like, okay, he doesn't know.
eyeless,
empty black sockets,
just black eye holes.
Yeah, and it's like, be like, all right, what? What? Nobody. What are the Preston's life do? What do these people do? Like, Jesus Christ!
Again, no exposition, no backstory.
Again, like, is are Preston's like descendants of like Van Helsing? Like, oh, this is old hat. We see this shit all the time.
All these eyeless bastards.
People, who fucking cares? People melting? Who cares? Ain't nothing.
We got this.
So like, it's blows my mind. So again, I just. If I got attacked by an eyeless occultist, I'd be losing my shit. Like, I'd be losing my fucking mind.
Your car just spontaneously... You go into a church of Satan.
Yeah.
You find your brother's bloody shirt with his name on it.
Name on it in
your
blood.
Car explodes. You almost get run over by eyeless John Travolta.
How's he driving a car, by the way, too, if he's driving eyeless?
And then you seem completely calm about the whole situation.
And that's not the word. It doesn't end there. No. Not just is he eyeless, but now his head turned into basically a fucking jack-o'-lantern because his black eyeless sockets are now filled with fire. He's got fire in his head.
Yeah.
He's like fucking Ghost Rider. Only it's all contained in his head. It's and they're like, okay, whatever.
Oh, what if they got John Travolta to play Ghost Rider instead of Nicolas Cage?
Oh God.
Well,
as bad as movies were, I still like Nicolas Cage.
Nick Cage is a little better.
At least it's Nick Cage, yeah. God damn. But it's so like. This blew me mind too. Like I was like, what the fuck is going on here? What is happening? But they're just like, yeah, whatever. No big deal.
Cool, man.
This guy, now his head's on fire. There's fire inside his head come through his eye socket.
Tie him up.
No big deal.
No biggie.
What was hanging out here? Julie says something about people like a long time ago looking for the book. And this takes us to a long flashback scene. I'm talking like long flashback, like Bloodsport long flashback scene.
Ooh, good reference.
Yeah. We're taking all the way back to like the early Puritan days of colonial America.
Yeah, we're going back to the 1400s.
Pilgrim Corbus is talking to his followers about the book.
So we're going back to Pilgrim times.
Yeah, Pilgrim Puritans.
We're back in the days of the fucking Mayflower.
Yep.
Landing on Plymouth Rock, motherfucker.
Yep. So Corbus is talking to his Satan followers in like their little shanty house or hut or whatever about this book again. Fun fact here, during this scene, the camera focuses on this pilgrim / Puritan woman pretty heavily. It shows like her face. It really zooms on this one woman in particular. Well, it turns out this woman is Priscilla. The character's name is Priscilla Corbus, who's played by Diane LaVey, Anton LaVey's wife. So she is the mother of Satanism, I guess, or something.
The bride.
Well, he's the father.
I guess so,
she'd be the mother, I guess.
Cute.
Yeah, so she's in it. In the background, watching all this unfold is Julie. Like she's just staying in the background, just like modern day clothes. She's watching it from like an out of body experience.
I had a reference to this. It kind of made me think of the Three-Eyed Raven, if you will.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
You know, very much like.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, like Bran and watching
in the past, watching things take place. She's dressed in 1970s clothing, watching this stuff happen.
Yeah,
and you know she's bearing witness to the past.
That's a great. That's a great reference.
Very Three-Eyed Raven, Game of Thrones style.
So Corbus continues to question his followers about who lost the book.
And I love, like, they just changed the language up just enough to make it sound old-timey.
Yeah.
Was it thou who lost the book?
Yes. There's also thous, thys, and these.
Yeah. Just
like, basically all they say.
Come on, man.
That makes anything old-timey, right?
Yeah.
Thou, thy, thee.
Like, we put some buckles on our hats, and we'll say thou a whole lot. Yeah, we're legit, right? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, where's the fucking, like, historical, like, reference there? We got Satanism covered.
Yeah.
Historical accuracy? Fuck it.
He turns to a man named Martin Fife. So now Martin Fife, who we see is also played by William Shatner.
Yes.
So Corbin questions him about his wife, Ernesta, who has not joined them in worship tonight. So Ernesta is married to Martin Fife. Then comes a knock on the door. Corbus opens the door, and they see all the town folk with torches standing outside, led by the town preacher.
It's the angry mob.
It is.
It's the angry mob coming at him.
The preacher accuses him of being a Satan follower and a witch.
To which he does not deny
Nope.
it. He's just like, yeah.
Coming out from the crowd of the people is Ernesta, who walks up and stands next to the preacher. Fucking love this so much. Corbus does not take kindly to seeing her there and decides to backhand bitch slap her across the face. And the best part about this is not that he does it, but when he does it, as soon as he slaps her, he yells out, slap! He actually yells the word slap as he bitch slaps this woman. Slap!
What did Five Fingers say in the face?
Slap!
Slap!
I died laughing when I saw that. I was like, holy, you did not actually say slap. Like,
Slap.
was this like a take? Like, he was just having fun, like, slap, and they decided to leave it in. Was this a mistake? Because it defines all character logic. Like, there's no humor in any of this, in Corbus's character anywhere, but he just slap.
If I ever slap anybody going forward from this time forward, I'm taking a page out of Ernest Borgnine's book and just announcing it to the world.
Yeah.
Slap! I'm just going to yell it for everyone to hear.
Yes, that's what he does, and I loved it. I died laughing. It's amazing. I
And
fucking
the
love
best
it.
part is also when after this, no one does anything.
Nope.
They're just like, yep, she deserved it.
She deserved it.
Guess so.
Oh, it's spirit time. She's a woman. Who
Yeah,
cares?
exactly.
Second class citizen.
Maybe it was historically accurate. Maybe they
point.
did yell out slap when they
Maybe
hit
they did.
people, and no one reacted to the woman being hit.
Then I will slap thee. Slap.
Slap. I slappeth thee.
Slap.
Slap.
Thee. Bitch slappeth thee. So anyway, Corbison just rushes back into the house, locks the door. The townsfolk start trying to break down the
He's
door.
just like, all right, later, losers. Goes back in,
Goes back
go
in.
back in and just locks the door. Like he's thinking they're gonna go away.
It's like,
They're out there with like pitchforks and fire and torches, and
it's like they're hunting Frankenstein's
they've
monster.
got a fucking noose and they're like rope and they're all ready to get him. And he's just like, later, losers.
Yeah, no,
goes
he
back inside,
doesn't care.
and they're just like, huh? Well, that won't stand.
No.
They just like seem perplexed.
Like, what do we do now?
That he slaps their woman?
It's never happened before. Are they allowed just to walk away?
Yeah.
Like, what do we do? What do we do?
Well,
What do we
yeah,
do?
yeah. It's like, can he do that?
Do we go after him?
Yeah.
I guess we go after him. Okay, all right. Inspect that door, maybe. I guess we'll see.
Do we knock again?
Knock again. So, Ernesta is talking to the preacher. She reminds the preacher that the preacher agreed not to harm her husband in exchange for her, like,
Yeah,
help-
she's like,
for her
look,
help."
I'm ratting out the Satanists. Spare William Shatner.
Yeah. Inside, Corbus paints a pentagram on a kid's chest in blood, I think. Then gives the kid some kind of glass vial along with some other quote-unquote holy objects in a bag and sends him through like a hidden passageway in a door in a
Here,
wall
take
that
these-
leads to a secret basement.
Take these tchotchkes and beat it. Kid.
Yeah. So the townfolk, they break through the door, they grab all the Satanists and drag them out into the night. The kid, we just saw, watches through a window in the basement as all the Satanists are dragged away. And this made me think, like, by the way, if you want to have a secret basement, don't put windows in it that clearly show the fact that there's a basement right there.
I didn't even think about that. That's a great point. This is your escape tunnel.
Yeah.
You got windows. To
Windows!
the outside world.
Looking right there, like everybody can look over. Oh, hey, look, there's a kid right there looking out at us, guys.
Look,
Maybe
there's
we
your
should-
escape tunnel.
Maybe we
And
should get
Here's
that.
another thing. Why didn't Ernest Borgnine go down the escape tunnel?
Exactly.
Why didn't anyone else go into the escape tunnel?
All of them could have gone down
Right.
there. He's like,
they,
no,
they just closed the door on him.
Yeah.
And they started ramming the door down, but they had plenty of time to go into their.
They all could have gone, yeah.
Yeah.
Or at least Borgnine or somebody could have, yeah. That's a good point too. So,
Yeah, they catch him, then they drag him
yeah,
out to the.
Martin Shatner Fife is also carried away. Ernest is outraged with the preacher who says that he's like, you promised, and the preacher's like, well, I promised, and I promised I would save him, and I'm trying to save his soul if God will allow it. So it's like, wah, gotcha.
Yeah, gotcha. Technicality.
So all the Satanists are tied up to giant stakes.
Yeah, they had them all ready.
Yeah, and if you know your history here, you pretty much know what's coming next. Except for Corbus, who just does like a jaunty little hop and a skip up. He goes up there willingly.
Yeah, he's like, party.
He's like dancing his way up
Here
there.
we go.
Yeah.
I'm going to go meet Satan.
The preacher continues to condemn Corbus and all this, who just laughs at the preacher while going on his own mad rant. Corbus even, I love it, somebody like tosses a torch up on like the pyre to start, and Corbus picks up and like throws it back at the townsfolk. He's like, ha ha! I get down, like, That's never happened before. What's going on here, guys?
This guy's fucking up our rhythm real bad.
And Corbus up there on this pyre with a steak. He's just like having a great time. He's
giving
laughing.
Speeches,
he's giving this crazy madman speech rant.
Praising Satan.
Yeah.
Telling Martin Fife that he's fucked.
Yeah. He throws a torch back at the preacher. Corbus places a curse on Martin Fife and all of his descendants. The camera cuts over and we see both Martin Fife and Ernest Fife tied up to a burning stake. They're on fire now, so they're burning.
See, way to go, Ernest.
Yeah,
you rat out your party and you get.
Now the preacher didn't even spare her. She really got fucked in this deal.
She sure did.
But you should have known at that time. The Puritans had no mercy. Say mercy. We'll show mercy.
Yeah.
Like mercy was, we might kill you a little quicker.
Mercy these nuts.
Yeah, there was no shit back then. So Corbus says that he will follow his Martin Fife's descendants for all of eternity until the book is his again. And at this point, I want to talk about the quote-unquote fire effects.
Oh, yeah.
And holy shit, are they bad. Because it looks like they just basically cut and paste some shitty fire effects into the foreground during the editing process.
I almost think they were just even holding a flame in front of the camera. So it looks like he's burnt. It was really bad.
It's so bad. You can tell there's no fire anywhere near the actual people.
No.
It's really, really bad. Unlike a muck train, which they practically set those kids on fire. This is the exact opposite of that.
If you guys haven't heard of Muck Train, holy shit, what a treat.
Go after this episode, go check out a Muck Train. Do yourself a favor. So finally the flashback ends at this point, and we go back to Tom and Julie still kneeling over Cowboy Travolta, who at this point seems to just be dead for someone. He's just motionless. He doesn't even look like he's even breathing.
He looks fucking dead.
Yeah, I thought he's like, okay, he's dead.
Urban Cowboy.
Urban
John
Cowboy's
Travolta.
dead. Yeah, Urban Cowboy's dead. She tells him, hey, we need to go. So, they do. They leave. They get into the Pinterest Preston car and drive off.
Prestonmobile,
thank you. As they drive away, we see about a dozen hooded figures standing in the streets behind them. They magically just kind of appear and start flooding out buildings. They drive away for a short bit. Then Tom stops the car, says, I have to go back. Grabs his rifle, gets out. Julie's like, all right, I ain't going. I'm not going. She's like, all right. And she drives off to go get help.
She says, I got to go back. She's like, cool.
All right, I'm not. No, he's basically like, you go get help. I'm going back. She's like, all right, fine. She drives off, leaving him. She continues to drive down the road for a ways. But then the eyeless Mama Preston, just sits up in the back seat. Like she was taking a nap back there. Like, oh, wait, where are we at? And then Julie looks back, sees her, screams. This causes her to lose control of the car and quote-unquote crashes into a tree. And by crashes, I mean gingerly bumps into.
Yeah, it looks like it's speeding towards it and then brakes just enough to just go beep, bump.
Yeah, it's the slowest crash I think I've ever seen.
It may have left a tiny dent in the bumper. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Kind of jostled the tree a little bit.
The tree barely moves.
Maybe it angered a squirrel. I don't know. It was the lamest car.
It's really bad.
Yeah.
We cut to the occultists walking through the desert with lit torches. They're chanting something.
This is nighttime now.
Yeah, they're all dragging a shirtless and struggling Shatner with them.
Sexy Shatner.
Yeah. They have apparently walked for so long. Because it's daytime now, but they've walked for so long that when they arrive at their weird ceremonial location in the desert, it is now nighttime.
Oh, yeah.
They have walked for at least 12 hours into the desert. Also, somehow Tom's skirt has now managed to steal a hooded robe and has infiltrated the cultists too.
He's just there.
He's just there in the hood now. Like, what? How did he get this hood? Who did he get it from? What?
How did he find these fucks?
Yeah, how did he find all the cultists going out into the desert? What is happening? There's so much stuff we want to see, but we don't see. But instead, they show fucking Shatner get out of a car, put an ambulance on, get back in a car and drive. That we had to see, but shit like this, nope.
Fuck it.
Shatner gets led up to an altar where Corbus stands addressing his followers, reciting more prayers. Tom makes his way through the crowd. Corbus goes on to say, let us behold the Father, the Ram of the sun, the moon, the stars. Hail, O deathless one. With that, he looks down and at this fiery brazier in front of him explodes. Like there's this little brazier with a little flame in it. He looks down and it just erupts into
Blows
fucking
up in
explosion.
his face, yeah.
And when he looks back up, Corbus is now a half man, half goat creature that looks fucking ridiculous.
It looks more like a Muppet.
It does. It looks more comical and whimsy than scary or intimidating.
He looks like he's funny.
Yeah.
Like a Muppety. Like
at
very
this
Muppety.
Actually, at this point, he looks like he belongs in a Jim Henson movie.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
Like Labyrinth or something like that.
That's
like,
exactly what I was about
Jim
to say.
Henson-esque.
Yes.
It's very Jim Henson. So now Corbus seems to be possessed by the devil or some other demon.
He's channeling a satanic personality.
And he talks in a deeper voice. And he's like...
I'm deeper and spookier.
He's like, why are we here? Has it been prepared? And the camera cuts over to a dude who must be like some kind of special or high-ranking occultist because he's wearing a golden helmet that makes him look like an actual dickhead. Because I mean, it's a bad helmet too, and it's gold, but it should be purple. The fucking purple helmet. It's exactly what this thing is.
Well, do you know who that dickhead is?
That dickhead, I'm coming to the golden dickhead is none other than the father of Satan himself, Anton LaVey.
Anton LaVey
is the golden dickhead.
Is in this movie as the golden dickhead.
As the golden dickhead. Yep. So both LaVey's in here, but goddamn, that helmet is the...
You know he fucking loved that thing when you put that on. He's like, yeah, I look so cool.
If he's supposed to be the actor, like, do they really wear those helmets in the church or Satan? Because if that's what they wear, holy fuck, they need to... Because you know what that kind of reminds me of? Like,
count me out.
Okay, wrestling fans. Old school wrestling fans who know their shit. I'm about to drop an old reference on you guys.
All right, what do you got?
To kind of compare this to. This golden dickhead helmet, the closest thing I can relate to in the world of wrestling would be the horrible Spartan-esque kind of helmet that Farouk had to wear when he first came in as like a gladiator character.
Wow.
Do you remember that shit? It's kind of like that.
That's old school.
Oh, wait, the LaVey one's much more dickhead, much more penisy looking than Farouk's was.
Ron Simmons,
yeah. But it's very much like that. I mean, the eye holes even have like that. Okay, we're gonna get real wild. But like, if you look at the dick from like underneath, it's got like that rounded like ledge underneath.
You're going a little too deep.
All right, I'm sorry, but that's what it looks like. It looks like I can't help it. That's what it looks like.
All right, get the dicks off the brain.
All right,
here.
dicks off the brain. All right, dicks off the brain.
All right,
dicks off. All right. So where was I? No, I found it. Okay.
Where's the Queen of Delights?
We never see her again.
I know.
We never see her again.
Instead, we get dickhead man. Marshall can't get it out of his head.
Damn it.
All right.
Corbus looks over and orders Shatner to be brought over to him. He says that Shatner shall be purified by fire and water. Shatner is pinned against the altar by two occultists while Corbus stares into the fiery brazier. He holds up a wax voodoo doll and says something like, "Let the fire cleanse this mortal vessel of its unworthy soul," or something like that.
What's with all the voodoo dolls?
Yeah, it's like, I didn't realize Satan has so much voodoo in it.
Yeah,
like,
or
it's weird.
The representation of a doll representing a person.
Yeah. Like,
yeah, a fucking voodoo doll.
It's a voodoo doll. As soon as Corbus lays the doll down above the flames, Shatner begins screaming and
freaking out. Yeah,
freaking out.
As well as Shatner can do.
And I gotta say, as much as I loved his Corbus screamer, this performance of him just screaming and reacting to this voodoo doll may be the greatest Shatner performance of all time.
He goes on and on and on and on.
It's insane, but also amazing.
And he sells it.
Oh my God, does he?
He's going bonkers.
Tom continues to creep through the crowd at this point. Corbus moves around to the front of the altar, places his hands on the pentagram that's burnt into Shatner's chest. Continuing the ritual, he takes a giant ladle from penis head Anton LaVey, says something like, "Now to be sealed by the holy waters of forgetfulness," which again is fucking lame. Queen of Delight in the waters of forgetfulness? What kind of lazy ass video game bullshit is that? The waters of forgetfulness sounds like some kind of quest item you get in like an old like Adventures of Zelda game or something like that. It's fucking bullshit. The waters of forgetfulness?
The waters of forgetfulness. Of course, that's a side mission you can do on Dragon
Jesus
Warrior.
Christ. So again, okay. Now because Anton LaVey was technically correct and he was like everything's supposed to be accurate. Okay, any actual Satanist out there who ever listened to this, I apologize if that's a real thing in your church.
We apologize if we're offending your religion.
For offending. If that's real, I apologize for laughing at it. But come on. That sounds utterly ridiculous. But
I don't apologize.
But honestly, speaking of, on the subject of actual Satanists, if anybody out there is an actual Satanist and you hear this and listens, please contact me. I would love to get your take on this movie. I would love to interview you and talk about all this.
What's your take on the Devil's Reign?
Know I know a lot of people won't keep, if they are Satanists, they keep that shit secret, so we'll totally keep your identity private if you want, but I would love to talk to you about your church and your take on this movie and how accurate of any of this is. So feel free to reach us on our show's email address, sobaditsscary@gmail.com, or our Facebook and Instagram pages. That would be awesome.
I might tease you a lot. And I just ruined Marshall's party. He's like, oh.
Well, I'm trying to be serious.
I won't tease you. I'm teasing.
Anyway, back to the movie. Corbus scoops out some of the water from the ladle with his hand and drips it across Shatner's face and his eyes while chanting some more shit. Corbus calls for the spirit of Martin Fife to come forth and take over the body that he has prepared for him.
So he's trying to channel. He's trying to channel Martin Fife,
his dead spirit,
to return to
possess modern day William Shatner.
Yes, because he's from the bloodline of Martin Fife.
Yes,
that's what I got.
Yeah, I guess, but again, like,
hey,
why?
Martin Fife, this guy sure looks a lot like you.
But if you were trying to torment this guy, like, why are you calling him back? He's already dead. Like.
Yeah, you're inviting him back.
Like, you've already won. The guy's dead. You want to torment his descendants. That's what you're doing. Why are you bringing this dude back?
Why
now?
are you inviting him back to the posse?
Yeah, like, I don't. Nothing makes sense. Nothing does. So the occultist holding Shatner down now release him. Shatner sits up and he is now eyeless. He's eyeless now.
Eyeless Shat.
And this is where, without knowing it, this movie becomes, like I said, one of the most important movies in horror movie history. Because when Shatner sits up, he's now wearing the facial prosthetic / mask that would later go on to become the famous Michael Myers mask.
Bum, bum, bum.
So this is where Michael's came from. This is, a lot of people know, oh, it's based on William Shatner mask. I thought it was, William Shatner, like a Star Trek mask. No, it came from the prosthetic this movie. So that's pretty fucking awesome.
So from what I understand,
and go on.
They took this mask that was made from this movie, this mold, and stores did sell it as a Captain Kirk mask.
That's right.
Which later became the Michael Myers mask.
I think that's the story too. But the mask wasn't like the mask was originally made as Captain Kirk. It was made here, and then
it was made here because they're like, well, it's William Shatner's face in a melty, eyeless way. Sure, put some hair on it and we'll call it Captain Kirk.
Yeah. So Shatner then praises Satan, and at this time, for some random eyeless occultist, I literally all right, I'm sorry. Let me backtrack here. I'm stumbling. Shatner rises up, he's like, praise Satan, and then at this time, some random eyeless Satan worshiping cultist out in the crowd, I think, literally sniffs out Tom Skerritt as an apostle.
John Travolta.
Because they're blind.
It's John Travolta.
Is it?
Yeah,
I didn't think, because he's like looking around, he's like,
yeah.
I swear it's like he's sniffing the air.
It's John Travolta. He got himself untied. And he's back. He's
not
back
dead.
again.
I thought he was dead.
No, it was John Travolta.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and he's like, blasphemer or something like that.
Usurper. I don't know, something.
Yeah. Corbus yells out for his followers to seize Tom. They all start grabbing him, but he slips through and even manages to shoot and kill 2 more of them, each of which also seem to bleed orange and mint sherbet.
Weird goo.
Yeah.
Orange and mint sherbet. I like that.
Yeah.
Ooh, I haven't had sherbet in so long.
That's what this movie made. Like, I thought, I need some sherbet. Because that looks like fucking orange and mint sherbet.
My grandparents always had sherbet on deck. I haven't had sherbet. They're passed away now, so I haven't had sherbet since my grandparents were alive.
Wow.
Man, it's been a while.
So, yeah, they bleed sherbet.
Raspberry sherbet!
Tom runs off into the night, being chased by cultists. The camera cuts back to a close-up of Michael Myers. Shatner. Then it cuts back to the ghost town where Tom takes a little rest on some stairs.
Yeah.
So I guess he's run for God knows how long. He takes, you know what, I'm taking a rest on these stairs here.
This rest period. This is where I'm like, oh man, maybe he has a respiratory issue, or maybe he's partly narcoleptic, Because you see, this seems like a pretty urgent thing. Like, you got to get the fuck out of Dodge. And he just lays on these steps, and he's not, like, breathing too heavy. He's just like, he looks more sleepy.
He does look sleepy.
Than, like, exhausted from running from a demonic cult.
That's a very good point. He really does.
He just looks tuckered out.
He looks like he's about ready to take a little cat nap.
Yeah.
He's
just like,
a little cat nap in the
just
sun.
slumped down, like, kind of cuddles his arm under his head.
Yeah, he totally
kinda
does.
Tucks himself in a little bit.
Totally does. So anyway, he ends up fighting some random occultist who peers up, and he knocks him off a second-story balcony, which looks straight out like an old Western movie. It's exactly what you see in an old Western.
It looks like if you go to like a Six Flags or a Disney World
or
like
a stunt show.
A stunt show.
It's
pure stunt show theatrics.
Yeah. So inside, then he goes inside the building where he fights another one of these guys. He kills this one by stabbing him with a pitchfork.
Sweet.
Again, more orange mint sherbet blood comes out of this guy too. Tom flees the building, runs off into the night again. We cut to the next day. Tom is standing around talking to Dr. Sam Richards now,
so again,
who has just shown up.
Hard cut, boom, done. He's back at the house.
Yeah.
He's back at the ranch.
How did he fucking get there? He has no car.
No! And it was like he literally just took steps away from the ghost town. Like looks like he's just getting away. Hard cut, daytime, back on the ranch.
Yeah.
Everything's fucking copacetic.
Yeah.
Everything's great.
Again,
What?
Yeah, I'm right there like, what?
And
What
Green
the fuck?
Acres is here.
Green Acres is there.
Green Acres is going, what are you going to do?
What? And we learn now that Julie has now gone missing. Sam, or Green Acres there, is flipping through the black book, which Tom is, while Tom rants on about shit. He shows Tom the book, which is filled with the names of people who have sold their soul to the devil and have written their names in blood in the book. He also points out a letter is also written in blood by Aranessa Fife. In the letter, Aranessa begs all of her daughters and their descendants to keep the book away from Corbus for as long as Corbus doesn't have the book, he cannot deliver the souls to Satan. It also mentions something about the suffering of the devil's reign and being trapped, and that's about all I got out of that.
Yeah, and so basically, don't give him the book.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Done. Don't do it.
You know what? Why did you ever just think about, if this book's so bad, why didn't you ever think, hey, we can't get this guy the book? Why don't you just burn the fucking book?
Destroy it.
Destroy it. Rip the pages out. Burn it. Get some whiteout. I don't know. What the hell?
Here's a question. Why the fuck is Green Acres in on this, and how does he know? How does he know about this
another
stuff?
thing I was going to come on later, but he's just, for all we know, he's just a doctor that Tom works with.
Doctor, he's into ESP and shit like that. He's into, like, psychology.
But now he's something like an expert in, like, the occult and Satanism. Like, what?
Huh?
What?
Way
Where
over
did this
my
come
head.
from? Yeah, what the shit, man? Tom grabs his gun and leaves to go back to the ghost town. Night has fallen again.
They did have John pop out. They're like, later, John. He's like,
the night-day cycles of this movie are insanely fast. They're rapid fire. We go back to Corbus and his followers still out at the ceremonial site. So I guess it's like they're Burning Man because they've been out there for days now.
Partying for a while.
For days.
Just tripping balls.
This time, a small group of followers carry Julie, who's wrapped up in an all-white silk or satin sheet or something, lay her down on the altar. She seems to, again, be ridiculously calm about this whole situation. She's been kidnapped. She's taken by cultists. She's wrapped up in a sheet. She's placed on an altar, and she's just like laying there like she's just, trying to take a nap.
Soaking it in. Like, what's going on here?
Corbus draws a pentagram on her chest while saying some weird shit I didn't get. Finally, at this point, Julie starts to scream and struggle. Now she's like, uh-oh.
Shit's getting real.
Yeah. You cut back to the old church where Sam and Tom enter. The two of them start snooping around.
Yeah, just
They
snooping.
find basically like a Ninja Turtles manhole cover in the middle of the like raised front part of the church.
Fucking love that.
It's just a fucking manhole cover right in the middle of church.
They're looking around. They're like, you smell that? Or, they're like, listen. They're like, listen. They're like, oh. They're listening. And they look down, and perfect description, man. It's straight out of fucking New York City, 1990. I'm waiting for Michelangelo to come out. Cowabunga!
Pizza Dude's got 30 seconds. So they lifted up the manhole cover and find a hidden compartment that's hiding. Like it's the hiding spot for a very tacky, very gaudy looking relic that kind of looks like a small patio fireplace. Or you could say that it looks like a giant Christmas ornament that has a golden goat head sitting on top of it. Trying to describe this thing is not easy.
It's
fucking strange looking.
It almost looks
or
like
even I'm sorry, but my last one is or a really weird looking old fucked up looking TV.
I was thinking more like think of it like the way it's shaped. Think of a large hourglass, but instead of the hourglass, the sand within, it's more rounded and it has an image coming from inside of it.
My parents on their back there has this cement fireplace chimney. It's like a chimney one thing fire.
They're referred to as chimeneas.
Chimeneas, thank you. Okay, I know what the chimenea, and that's what this thing looks like from the back. It looks like a chimenea.
I can see that,
but it's really weird looking thing. But it's got like a TV in the middle of the thing. And which is, I guess, it's supposed to be a window, but it's a fucking TV,
which is broadcasting a whole bunch of dopes.
Yeah,
getting rained on.
Yeah, they look through this window or into the TV, and Tom and Sam see dozens of people wandering around aimlessly, moaning
I'm getting wet,
and then who's getting rained on? Yeah, but instantly, both of them no, that's not people. That's the souls that belong to Corbis.
And this is...
What? What the fuck? I'm sorry, how the fuck do you make that connection? You pick this up and those aren't people. Those are souls.
And they seem really calm about it.
Again, insanely calm. Medicated calm.
They're like, oh, you know what this is, Tom? The Devil's Rain, and those are trapped souls. Yeah. Oh, I think you're right, Green Acres. Yeah, I think you're right. All right, so what do we do with this? Let's hold on to it.
Yeah,
they're so calm.
Again, wow, that's the first thing that comes to mind. I don't get it.
And they call this the Devil's Rain.
Yeah.
This is the Devil's Rain.
It's just people wandering around getting rained on for
people
eternity.
Wandering around getting rained on going, I'm so uncomfortable.
I'm just wet. I'm wet.
My clothes are kind of riding up.
My socks are wet. That would be a shitty way to live eternity.
I'm getting athlete's foot.
So some of the souls are pawing at the glass, moaning and wailing.
Just complaining.
Yeah.
Really, if that's
hell, that's not that bad.
That's pretty light.
That's pretty light, yeah.
That's pretty damn light.
And honestly, I would think people in hell would welcome the rain.
Yeah.
Because they say how hot and dry it is. I would think the rain would be pretty good.
You're not drowning.
No, you're not drowning. You're just wet.
You're dressed completely. There's no
just
demons.
A minor inconvenience. You're not getting poked with pitchforks.
Nothing's
not getting
happening.
tortured.
And you got other people there with you.
Yeah, you're not alone.
Yeah.
So your fingers are pruny forever. Who cares?
So you're just uncomfortable.
Suddenly the sheriff walks up to Tom and Sam. They look up at the sheriff who has his head down. He's got his big sheriff hat on. And the sheriff looks up at them. And we see that the sheriff now, he too has become an eyeless one.
This is the one part where I was a little ooh. Because this movie just feels like it has no scares.
Oh, it doesn't.
Nothing. This is the one part I was like... but there's a one part I was like, ooh, that's a little swerve.
Yeah, a little swerve. Again, never see how he becomes an eyeless one or anything. He just is.
It's okay.
The sheriff swings at them with an axe, but Tom and Green Acres are able to get out of the way. Tom struggles with the sheriff. Sam runs up behind them and tosses the sheriff down the hole, which now seems to become an endless, bottomless pit. It goes from having a floor because the relic had to be sitting on something.
Unless
a
it
bottom.
was hovering.
Yeah, so the thing was obviously 3 feet deep, maybe 4. And
they
pull this thing out.
They opened the hole.
And it had to be sitting on something.
They reach down, pull it out, and they're like, here it is.
And now the hole is like a bottomless pit.
And not only is it a bottomless pit, but it's explosive.
It's because the sheriff falls into the pit and then the hole erupts in a flame flurry of a fiery old faithful. Fiery geyser just erupting out of this thing. We cut back to Corbis and his followers leaving their Burning Man ceremonial site. Some are carrying Julie, who is now tied to a cross. Then we go right back to the church where Tom and Sam carry the relic to the front doors, but stop when they hear the cult coming. So they head up to the balcony of the church to hide.
Again, really calm.
Really calm. Down below, a single occultist is seen picking up the black book that Sam left on the floor. The book.
This is the one thing that they said, do not let Corbus get.
And it's like, oh,
keep out of the hands of Corbus. If Corbus gets this, he can deliver the souls to Satan.
Yeah.
Don't let Corbus get their hands on it.
And
what do they do? They fucking leave it.
They leave it there. Yeah.
Right in the middle of his goddamn altar.
Right in the middle
God damn it.
So the occultist, he takes the book, gives it to Corbus.
Corbus is like,
he hugs it to his chest. Like
I love it. Corbus is like, are you really? Really? He's like flipping through, like, oh my God, this is it, guys. This is it. I got it.
It's like a kid on Christmas, man.
He hugs it. He's like,
so
Ernest Borgnine fucking steals the show right there.
Well, between that and slap.
Yeah.
Corbus and his followers all enter the church. He orders Julie to be placed on the altar. Seeing this, Tom yells out, jumps off the balcony, lands right in the middle of dozens of occultists, and I chalk this up as being like possibly the stupidest move in the entire movie.
Didn't think that one through.
Did not. I get you want to save your wife, but come on, fucking come on, man. Think about this. You can't save her if you're caught and killed too, you dum-dum. Like, normally you would think, okay, let me sneak down the stairs, I'll sneak around to the side, and, you know, let me bonsai jump, let me fucking jump off the balcony into the middle of all of them, and with nowhere to run.
Or just start shooting.
Yeah, he's got a fucking, that's another thing, he's got a fucking rifle, he's up there with a perfect shot, Corbus is staying up there, you can shoot Corbus right then and there and end all of this.
You can blow his head off.
Which would incidentally save Julie. You don't have to jump into the masses without the gun. I'm sorry, but Jesus Christ. He does manage to land on top of one of the occultists, taking him out, but he's instantly overwhelmed and grabbed by like everybody else.
He's not able to slap his way out of this like William Shatner. William Shatner. Shatner's the slap master.
Eventually, Tom gets pinned up against the wall, and when he looks up, he sees the person who's holding him is Shatner.
It's funny you say that because if you notice,
because Shatner, not only I mentioned it, but God, see, Shatner. What makes it even more so is the lighting in this scene is very whitish. It's a very light blue, so it almost casts like that whitey blue kind of color. Makes it look like.
Not only does he look at him,
he does the famous Michael Myers head tilt.
Yes,
he does the Michael Myers head tilt.
Yes,
I'm like, Jesus Christ.
So is this not the Michael Myers head tilt? Is this really the William Shatner head tilt? Have we been wrong this entire time?
We've all been duped. Every millions of horror fans who've like the famous, the Michael Myers head tilt, Nope, we're all wrong.
William Shatner's
head tilt.
For 40 years, we've been wrong. We're telling you here, Moon Goons, it's the William Shatner head tilt.
Oh my God. So Jesus, fucking insane. Corbus.
It is.
Corbus turns to start setting up another ritual now that he has the book, but now suddenly Sam is standing in the middle of the aisle with the relic. So what?
He just Greenacres comes on down.
He just walks his way down into the middle of this, and nobody sees him.
None of the occultists, and it's so funny because he's wearing like
a suit.
A suit. He just looks. It's so out of place.
Yeah, so out of place. Stands out.
I mean, Tom Skerritt's like wearing like
a flannel shirt
and jeans.
Shirt,
like, he's out there to like, you know, he's gonna fucking go to war. You know, he's wearing more rugged clothes.
No, he's not wearing plaid. He's wearing like he's not. It's not plaid flannel, but I know he's jeans and shirt and like a leather jacket.
He's built for action.
He's built for
action. Where and then you have all the robed individuals.
Yep.
And then you got this guy who looks like he's there for like a pharmacy conference.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah. And again, nobody seems to stop him. He just comes all the way into the middle of the aisle,
carrying the Devil's Reign in his hand.
This giant, unwieldy relic thing.
The Devil's Reign. Yeah.
So Sam basically tells Corbus to hold his horse. Like, whoa, easy there, Corbus.
Yeah.
Why don't you wait a second? Corbus turns to Sam, and if we haven't mentioned it yet, so I'm going to mention it now. Ernest Borgnine's eyebrows are fucking insane in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
They are a character all to themselves. They're just crazy eyebrows.
Spiked. They look like spiders.
They're like spiked, but they also like split. They're like there's a length, and then like at the corner of the eye they split into like two eyebrows. One kind of spikes up, and the other kind of goes out and down. They're insane.
They're fucking awesome.
They are. It's like whoa. Like the eyebrow game of this movie is on point for him. So Sam tells Corbus that unless he lets him leave here with Tom and Julie, he will destroy the Devil's Reign. With that, he lifts up the relic over his head like he's going to smash it. But the second he does, as soon as he lifts it up, it immediately gets grabbed and taken away by Shatner. Who, like, what? Shatner was just holding Tom's skirt against the wall, but now Shatner's over here taking the Devil's Reign from Green Acres. What?
He's versatile.
You're talking about an empty fucking threat, by the way. And again, I'm
gonna smash it. Oh shit! William Shatner got it.
Alright, you just took that from me.
Oh, there goes my game.
Again, does nobody in this movie think things through? Because first, like I said, we had Tom leaping off the balcony into the center of the masses. And then we have Sam threatening to break the relic, but doesn't seem to realize that he's surrounded by dozens of cultists who can just snatch it from him instantly, which they do. These are the worst planners.
They really are.
They deserve to just get done. So Corbus orders Shatner to bring him the Devil's Reign. Sam, in turn, tries to reason with the eyeless, possessed Shatner, trying to get Shatner to turn on Corbus now.
You're still in there, Preston. I know you're still in
there.
Exactly.
Sam frantically shouts out that without the Devil's Reign, Corbus has no power over you. This is his last chance to defeat Corbus and save himself and all of his souls. Corbus, on the other hand, is like saying, "You're sworn to Satan now, Martin Fife," and blah blah blah. He's still calling him Martin. So now, but at the same time, now Corbus and Sam are calling Shatner Martin instead of Martin, which I don't get either. I get Corbus now. I've made my peace with Corbus. We've seen the flashback that good, but why the fuck is Sam calling him Martin Fife? Where did that come from? He doesn't know any of that backstory. He wasn't there for any of that. What the hell? So, as a last-ditch effort, Sam yells out, "Remember Aranessa!" Remember the Alamo or something like that. Jesus Christ. And this seems to spark something in Shatner. Shatner slowly says, "Aranessa," then smashes the relic to pieces. Just, bam, throws it on the ground,
smashes the Devil's Reign.
This causes...
And holy shit.
A hole in the roof of the church to explode open. The roof explodes, big hole. And it's also apparently summons the god of thunder, Thor, because it starts raining.
Lightning, thunder, huge storm.
So, the rain begins to fall through the opening of the roof. All the occultists start to scream and panic. They're freaking out. Okay, so like I said, at this point, we were an hour and 15 minutes into this movie. And from here on out, things get fucking insane. It gets fucking whack-a-doodle bonkers.
Weird.
So hold on to your butts. This ending, it's insane ending, but it also starts to drag on a bit too and gets a little too long.
So we're at an hour 15?
Hour 15 minutes.
How long is the movie? Like hour 30?
Yeah, hour 30.
Because it's like the next 10, 15 minutes is all the same shit.
It's all,
for the most part.
Yeah, it's insane, but it goes and goes and goes. So all hell breaks loose at this point. Chaos ensues. The occultists are screaming. All of them are trying to escape from the church. Tom and Sam are able to reach Julie, who is still tied to the cross. They untie her.
The occultists don't give a shit. They're freaking out.
Yeah, they don't. Tom comes face to Isla's face with his mother, who begins to melt like a candle in front of him. She's melting. So he rushes the altar to confront Corbus. Doesn't try to help his mom. Like, oh, fuck, my mom's melting in front of me.
Mom's melting.
Fuck it, I'm going over here to Corbus.
Yeah.
Corbus is now transformed back into his man-goat creature. The two of them face off, circling around the altar like they're about to have a big showdown. Now Tom decides, instead of attacking, to just stand there. He just stands there, freezes, and basically lets Corbus grab his head.
Tackle him.
And he basically lets Corbus put him in the iron claw.
Kind of.
Corbus puts the iron claw onto Tom, who just, again, stands there and lets this happen.
Just being overpowered
by one hand.
By goat-headed Ernest Borgnine.
Yeah. Corbus forces Tom down to his knees with one hand and starts to try to push him over the edge of the pit.
Into the explosion pit.
The explosion, the fiery manhole cover. Meanwhile, outside, all the occultists have managed to escape the church, most of them anyway, but are now...
They're filing outside into the rain, into the
now
storm.
They're fully exposed to the rain, and they all begin to melt.
Everyone starts melting.
And not just melt, but smoke and steam begins to like escape up from their bodies too.
And it's just this loop of melting.
Yes,
just constantly going on the background.
It is.
With thunder, rain, struggling Ernest Borgnine and Tom Skerritt, just madness.
Yes. We back inside. Corbus is still trying to push Tom into the pit, but now the rain has gotten to Corbus, and he too is beginning to melt.
He's starting to melt.
Looks fucking crazy in his partially melted goat man form.
This goat man outfit starts melting, and the eye starts like coming out. It's so weird looking.
I will say this is the best melt. It looks fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It looks really good. This part, the melty goat face thing. It's probably this movie's not scary, but that is the scariest thing in this movie.
If I was a little kid, I'd be like, oh no,
yeah.
Jim Henson's creature's melting.
So there's smoke coming off of his horns too. Like he's starting to smoke too. Corvus begins to weaken from melting, and he loses his grip on Tom. Outside cultists are pulling their melting skin off their face.
Yeah, they're pulling their faces off.
Tom manages to break free from Corvus. He rushes back to Sam and Julie. Corvus is in his weakened form and is vastly melted, falls into the pit, and just like when the sheriff did, a geyser of fire erupts out of the pit. And that's not all. Aside, the back wall of the church explodes.
Just blows right off.
So there's the whole wall gone.
With the stained glass of the goat head smashes, blows off.
Gone.
Big spectacular explosion.
Yeah. All the cultists continue to scream and melt in the rain out front.
And
Tom,
on and on.
On and on. Tom scoops up Julie along with Sam. They leave through the now missing blown out wall. The melting just keeps on going and going. As they melt, they turn to puddles of orange and green sherbet, like a mint sherbet.
But it just keeps going.
Yeah, it just keeps going.
This is where you start to go, all right.
That's what I said. It's insane. I mean, it is an insane ending, but at some point, it keeps dragging on.
Yeah. Like they don't crank up. They cranked it to 10.
Yeah.
Too fast. Yeah.
The fire in the church spreads as the cultists continue to wail in pain as they melt and die. Some are trying to embrace each other as they melt, and which is like, oh, that's sad. That's terrifying. Actually,
let's melt together.
Yeah.
I'll stop the world and melt with you.
Boom, boom. I love it. The melting is pretty fucking awesome and spectacular when you do stop to think that this is done in 1975.
Yes.
But
I will say that. Yeah.
It's really good effects, but like we keep saying, it just goes on and on and on. But it does look amazing. So it's a real weird balancing act. It's great, but too much. The camera cuts back to the flaming pit, and we see a melting hand reach up out of it and grab the edge. So, Corbus isn't done. Then it cuts to a wide shot of the church fully engulfed in flames, and that's when the whole church just fucking explodes. Ba-boom. Just the entire thing.
Huge. And we're talking multiple angles.
Ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. We see Tom, Julie, and Sam getting up from the mud ground. Like they probably got tossed to the ground by the force of the explosion. So they're standing up out of the mud. And you would think that's the end of it, right? Nope, because the fucking church explodes a second time. And somehow this one is even bigger than the first one. A giant, 40-foot geyser of fire just erupts and shoots up into the sky.
Like a fucking mushroom cloud follows.
Yeah, it's insane. It's fucking huge. So our three survivors now stand up, look at the flaming wreckage. Julie then calls out Tom's name. She's like, Tom! And she holds her arms out to come and hold me. Let's embrace, blah, blah. And so Tom goes up to her. They hug. The camera zooms in on the back of their heads as they're slowly spinning in a circle and hugging. And as they are turning, we see that Julie has now somehow turned into fucking Corbus.
Ernest Borgnine.
And Corbus is just hugging Tom, and he gently laughs into Tom's ears as they continue to hug.
Looking crazy as hell with his awesome eyebrows.
We crossfade to Julie inside the Devil's Rain relic, pounding on the glass, getting drenched in rain, screaming, no, no, no.
I'm getting wet. No.
The credits roll as Julie screams for help, but then she just stops. And seems to go numb or into a trance, and she just stares into the camera as the rain continues to fall.
The credits roll.
Fade to black. Yeah, the credits are rolling over this.
Over her.
And
Which is
then
an
it fades-
interesting...
Yeah, it's a really interesting choice.
I kind of liked it.
I kind of liked it too. And it's silent. There's no
Yeah.
music. All you hear is the rain
falling, and she's just staring, getting drenched.
Yeah.
As the credits are rolling.
Yeah. And then it fades to black. End of the movie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck is that ending? Are you kidding me? I don't get it at all. I mean, I kind of get what they were going for, but it doesn't make any fucking sense. Why is she in the Devil's Rain, bro? Because we see it get destroyed.
We saw the Shatner.
It's gone. There is no Devil's Rain. The Devil's Rain is because the fucking thunderstorm of hell that come down and melt everybody. So how is she back in it? How is it there? What the fuck? Ernest Borgnine was burned and blown up, and now he's hugging Tom, and Julie's in a fucking magic relic and getting rained on. What the shit is happening? It makes no sense.
Ernest Borgnine, when he was down in the pit, they got like 5 or 6 of them down there.
I guess if
he's just like, I got thrown in the pit. Let me grab one of these other Devil Rain. I got to start all over again.
Yeah, I guess.
I think you saw him climb out, so maybe somehow he, I don't know, dicked her in.
This makes no fucking sense.
No,
to
it
me.
doesn't.
And how did she get put in there?
I don't know.
Like, she was never possessed. She never signed her soul. How is she in there?
We never saw exactly what happened to Burning Man Part 2.
I get, but Ed, I don't get it. I don't get it. It fucking infuriates me. Fucking Eddie. All right. So that's Devil's Rain, guys. That's the fucking movie.
Jesus.
Let's move on to this week's odds and ends favorite kills. Favorite kills.
Don't act like you didn't love it. Favorite kill.
Not much to choose because everybody just fucking melts. Basically, it's
a lot of melting.
A lot of melting. So, what's your favorite melt or favorite death?
Jesus, it's all basically melts.
Yeah,
which is this? I guess this would classify as a melt
I was gonna
movie.
bring it up. Yeah, this would have to be like an early melt movie along the lines of Street Trash because that's all it is a melting.
I guess I'm gonna have to go with. Did he die though?
Who fucking knows?
The Ernest Borgnine goat face melt.
Yeah,
is my favorite because it's so. That's when all the shit is hitting the fan, going crazy, bonker doodles. That's my favorite. Death. It's not even a kill either.
No, it's not. Nobody actually gets like murdered or killed
except for the goons who get the shot or stabbed with a pitchfork.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
That's those are the only like true like deaths. Everyone else just died.
Yeah.
Our favorite kills, I guess.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a great point. And the Ernest Borgnine melt. I would say the very first one, Steve at the very beginning, caught my attention. Like, oh,
sure did. Yeah.
Oh, wasn't expecting that. He's melting. Okay.
And
all right.
And everyone seems very cool with this.
That was weird. But so I would say that's kind of up in the runnings for me because it was the first one and it kind of says like, oh, this is interesting. What's going to happen? But you're right. They just lost. But Borgnine's got to be the best because even the melting effect on his goat face were the best. And not only does he melt, then he fucking goes up in a fiery geyser of flame, a fireball, a fucking fireball that blows up a church. So you include that in on his death too. I would. So yeah. We're both gonna say Ernest Borgnine's death is our favorite for this one. So that's quick and simple. Let's move on to the odds and ends.
Just when you thought it was over, here comes the odds and ends.
All right, ratings. IMDb gives it a 4.8 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes, 20% on the thermometer with a 35% audience score.
Huh.
Amazon, though, 4.1 out of 5.
Wow.
Yeah. Trivia. Got quite a bit of trivia for this one. So supposedly, take this for the shooting of the film was plagued by eerie events and accidents. Because of this, Ernest Borgnine vowed never to work on a project with this subject matter ever again. Ernest Borgnine revealed at a convention panel in 2010 that the movie was financed with mafia money and that he was never actually paid for his work on the film.
Oh, no.
Now, this one is cool. Tell me about this one. I don't know if you know about this one or not. Originally, they wanted Vincent Price to play Corbus.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Huh.
And Christopher Plummer was originally going to be William Shatner.
Interesting. Now, I know like Vincent Price did work on the Mr. Fives movies, so that makes sense. I didn't hear that.
Could you imagine? What would you think? Ernest Price in this as Corbus?
Vincent Price in this as Corbus. That'd be cool. That'd be
fucking cool. I like Vincent Price, but I don't know.
Ernest Borgnine did fine.
He crushes it.
Yeah, he did.
And the problem is Vincent Price to me has such a I would say high class. You know, like that voice. It's so unique. And it doesn't seem like, I almost think Vince Price is too good for this part.
He's a fine wine.
He is a fine. Like I don't see him doing like him fitting this part, that role, that character.
Yes.
Love Vincent Price, but I actually think it's probably better with that they didn't go that route.
Yeah.
As much as I love Price. Actually, just John Travolta's film debut. We already talked about this. Years later, on an interview with VH1, John Travolta was reminded of this film, and he said, "Oh, that's a terrible movie." He quipped with a big laugh, and there are so many big stars in it, but it's a terrible movie. We talked about Anton LaVey, William Shatner. William Shatner had to leave production for 3 days in order to attend a Star Trek convention in New York City. In his 2010 book, Showgirls, Teen Wolves, and Astro Zombies, Australian film reviewer Michael Adams ironically called The Devil's Reign the ultimate cult movie. It's about a cult, has a cult following, was devised with input from a cult leader, and saw a future superstar indoctrinated into a cult he helped popularize.
Beautiful.
So, is that not amazing?
That is beautiful. That's great.
Yeah. This film was included on the film critic Roger Ebert's most hated list. Reportedly, can't prove it, but reportedly it was during the filming of this movie that John Travolta received a copy of Dianetics from an actress in Durango, Mexico in January of 1975.
Oh, no.
So this movie was the cause of John Travolta's craziness.
Planted the seed. Oh, no.
Yep.
It is the Devil's Reign.
So when Julie Preston has her... okay, this is kind of a weird one. So when Julie Preston has her flashback of Jonathan Corbis during what appears the colonial era, we talked about the Puritans and all that, Corbis makes a statement, "Who amongst thee dares cast into the eternity of limbo?" In context of the movie's theme, the religious references are routinely peculiar because the settlers are portrayed as Puritans, but in Puritan tradition, they didn't have limbo in Protestant beliefs.
No purgatory.
No purgatory. Limbo is primarily a Catholic concept, so that doesn't make sense for them to have that in there. And Don Post Studios, okay, we already talked about the Halloween mask. Yeah. The William Shatner mask, which was used for facial prosthetics during the melting scenes, company later used the same mask to create the mass-produced Halloween mask of William Shatner, Star Trek character Captain Kirk. The same mask was painted white and reused later in horror. Yeah, we covered that. We covered that. All right, so that's what I got for this one. There's a lot more, especially if you listen to the bonus content.
Yes, I listened to one of the commentaries, and I do got to chime in on just one thing. And
sure.
I watched the interview with William Shatner, and I watched the interview with...
There's a William Shatner interview on that?
There's a William Shatner interview.
Oh, I have to watch that one.
And it's literally like... right when he finished filming it.
Okay.
It's basically William
I thought
Shatner,
like William Shatner today reviewing.
No, it's William Shatner like eating like a styrofoam packaged lunch and this weird microphone. And the guy, he's talking about all the other stuff. He's like, this is after he did Star Trek. He's like, yeah, they're talking about making a Star Trek movie. I haven't seen it. I might be in this show called T.J. Hooker. Who knows? He's like, I might be this. I just rapped on The Devil's Reign. And the guy's like, oh, how's that? He's like, it's crazy. I get overpowered by Satan. Booga, 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 booga. Like, you gotta watch it. I'm not gonna spoil it. Even though you've just fucking spoiled it. Yeah. It's a pretty bad interview, but it's just so funny because William Shatner is just...
I missed that one. I watched it. I did watch
funny.
the interview with the actual Satanists on it.
Yeah, I watched the one with the Satanist secretary, but the thing that... She talked about Anton LaVey being on set. Yeah. William Shatner didn't like Anton LaVey. He's like, that guy gives me the fucking creeps. I don't like it. Ernest Borgnine was cordial, but Antoine LaVey took a very deep liking, according to this Satanist lady, that really took a shining to John Travolta. Really liked John Travolta.
Oh, that's
really
right,
was very interested in John Travolta.
Cool. Yeah, he's a cool guy.
He's a cool guy. Apparently John Travolta and him bonded over, of all fucking people, Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
And he talked about how John Travolta did a spot-on impersonation of Marilyn Monroe, which Anton LaVey found tantalizingly amazing. Yes. What the fuck?
Yeah,
what a weird thing to talk about.
The interview with the two Satanists was a good one. That was an interesting one to watch.
If you guys get the Blu-ray of this, watch the extras.
We have 2 copies. We might do it in like a giveaway. We have 2 copies. So anyway, let's move on. Unfortunately, I couldn't find the budget for this. I really wanted to, but I couldn't find. Surprisingly, with all these people, you think it would, but it's
again, if what Ernest Borgnine said was true, and it being filmed in Mexico,
yeah,
and apparently, from what I understand, also with Anton LaVey being there and all the extras and all the satanic stuff that was going on, a lot of the locals were like, they like left the area, like leave those crazy Satanists alone.
Yeah,
it really gave them the spooks.
Yeah, that is true. That did that. So no budget, but that brings us to this week's 5-star reviews.
Is this your guilty pleasure? 5-star reviews.
All right, so 5 stars. We have 117 total reviews. Excuse me. 48% are 5-star, with only 7% being 1 star. That's quite the difference.
Huge disparity.
So from Evil Jim writes, great, all hail Borgnine. From Aeneas, if you're a fan of the left-hand Lord, this movie's for you. HS, Dave, a.k.a. Aeneas. So, hail Satan. If you're a fan of the left-handed Lord, you'll love this movie.
Yeah.
Hail Satan, Dave, a.k.a. Aeneas. So, ballsy review, but all right.
All right.
From Boners with a Z. Some of the cheesiest moments ever put on film. I loved it. From Juice, anything below 5 stars is pure stupid. And last one from Thomas Dunham. This movie is so awful, I love it. First of all, Shatner versus Satan. Is the world really a better place if either of these guys wins? ? Ernest Borgnine as the devil. Whoa! It's a hoot. Now, you would think that with a plot like this and this level of tricked out 70s talent, Devil's Reign couldn't miss. It sucks. But it sucks is such a complete and perfect suck that it actually unsucks. Robert Persig said that sanity is round like the globe, and if your nutty butt keeps going in one direction, you will eventually wind up sane. This movie proves that theory. 5 stars.
Not bad.
Yeah. And a few 1-star reviews to close it out from Renita Edmond. I dislike The Devil's Reign. 1 star.
Fair enough.
Danny Bergloff just writes, junk. 1 star. Francis Booth Lynch, titled, finally a positive spin on the Salem witch trials. Movie 8 of 1975 and number 29 overall on my journey through films of my lifetime. That's the title of her thing.
A little wordy.
Yeah. So, and this is the longest.
I was about to say, well, with a title like that, I guess we got to get some popcorn.
So, have you ever thought, what if the victims of the Salem witch trials were actually guilty? Yeah, I know, I haven't either. And it's the most meager element of The Devil's Reign, but probably one of the best moments in terms of quality of camp. I'll go in and say that this is one you should watch with friends and get a good laugh. Watching this alone was not great. It had its moments. The opening was exciting and funny. Funny? I don't know what the funny was, but okay. After that, it takes a turn for the boring and was never scary. I'll give credit to the fact that it took place in a ghost town that gave it a Western horror vibe that was unique. The term vessel was used too many times. And I thought this was referring to William Shatner's character, whom oddly acted almost exactly like James T. Kirk. The surprise to me that it wasn't actually referring to a MacGuffin that housed the souls collected by a devil. While the movie was focused on Shatner's character, it was actually pretty good. But that was given up for an infomercial on Satanism. There would be a Satanism craze in the 80s that horrified many patrons, so I'm sure this would have been perfect in that time, but I'm not sure how it played in the 70s. In the middle of this movie came a look at the cult's existence during the Salem witch trials. I'm thinking that the filmmakers were assuming they had found a universal enemy to couch the cult to make them look cool. It really added very little and muddled the plot. Ultimately, The Devil's Reign was aimless and confusing. I kind of agree with that.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's wrap up our final thoughts, final takes on Devil's Reign. Aaron, take it away.
It is muddled and confusing. It's very easily one of the most confusing films I think we've seen.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense, really. We kind of said it right off the bat. You get dropped off into basically the middle of the story. Like, we get dropped off in the second act.
Yeah.
And then it just drags for a long time. And the great actors, great cast, but they just didn't seem... I mean, I gotta say, Shatner did great. Borgnine did great. Tom Skerritt didn't do anything for me. He could have been anybody. And Green Acres could have been anybody. John Travolta, hey, that was his first film. That was just kind of fun.
Yeah, you can't really...
He didn't do anything, but it was just kind of fun to be like, hey, John Travolta. But it's basically Shatner and Ernest Borgnine. And they knocked it out of the park. They really did. I thought they did pretty well. But it's so weird, man. It's just so confusing. And just... At the end of the day, though, it's hard to put this movie into words. I think it is.
I agree with you. I don't know. Go ahead, keep going. But yeah,
it's tough. I feel like I'm just rambling, and that's kind of what this movie kind of did.
Yes,
it really did.
Yeah. You get right.
It's just we're gonna make a Satanist movie. We don't exactly know where we're going, and we're just gonna we're gonna throw in this Devil's Rain, and we're gonna throw in this Melt, and then we're gonna throw in this weird ending. They just kind of seem to throw things out randomly. And that last review, the 1-star person who talked about following William Shatner, like that seemed to have like a plot point and a goal. And then once he became influenced by Ernest Borgnine and we got Tom Skerritt now as the lead, everything just kind of from there fell apart. It was already kind of fucked up and on wobbly legs there, but then it just all just kind of fell apart. However, I was not bored. I never got bored. I was kind of sitting on the edge of my seat going, what the fuck? Huh? What's it? Why did it explode? What's Green Acres doing here? Why is it day? And it does have some history in horror movies. I mean, this is where we got the iconic Michael Myers mask.
Yeah, you can't take that away from it. We'll always have that.
Just for that, I'm going to say so bad it's good, and you need to watch it. Then that's the only reasons, really. So, it's fucking whack-a-doodle. It's totally weird.
Took my word from me, but yeah.
I like that word. I like whack-a-doodle. But I'm going to have to say so bad it's good because I want people to watch it. I want people to see it. I want people to just get a little taste of that weird, shitty time when this was considered... this wasn't even a scary movie.
No, it's really not.
It's just a weird film, man. It's just a weird film.
Yeah, you kind of said almost everything. The words escape me. This movie's almost beyond trying to
very
explain.
Difficult,
very weird. But I agree with you about everything. Like the movie sucks. I mean, it's a bad, terrible movie. I mean, it bombed. Like I said, I didn't mention this. I didn't get a chance to mention this in the beginning, but the movie was such a commercial failure that basically Robert Faust, the director, was shunned from Hollywood. He never was meant back to make another horror movie or feature. He went straight to doing TV, like I said, kids movie, TV and kids stuff because he couldn't know he would hire him anymore after this movie is such a failure. And again, it blows my mind because the cast is incredible. Yeah. Like, how does that happen? Like, this is such a weird, I don't want to say diamond in the rough, but turd in the haystack. Like, I don't know, like how do you
turd in the haystack?
You have all the elements of a great cast and all this stuff, but then an established director who did Down Dr. Fives and Vince Vaughn classic movie, and then this shit had what happened? What was it LaVey? Was it his? Did he have too much control over the Satan stuff that they just all right, we'll do this, and whatever he says.
That's a bold fucking move to actually bring the
I mean, I get why you want
controversial,
but I get that you're saying in the 70s when exploitation, we have the actual Satanist guy. This is the most realistic Satanist experience you're gonna get. And, it's so intense.
You're gonna worship Satan.
But it's a crazy ride. I do think I was also saying when Shatner's on screen. Okay, I get. Because he's the first character you see. You get invested in Shatner, and Shatner's there, and then he just disappears.
He's the hero.
But then he disappears for half the movie, and you start following Tom Skerritt around. Huh?
Yeah.
Why? I'll go back to Shatner. What's wrong with him? I don't care about Skerritt right now. I want Shatner back.
Yeah.
But at the same reason, it's a bad movie. It is a bad movie.
Agreed.
It makes no sense.
Agreed.
It's confusing as fuck. But like you said, I guess it's so bad it's good because it is so. I'm taking my word back. Whack-a-fucking-doodle that. It needs to be watched, but the problem is it's hard. It's not streaming. I had to buy, I had to buy physical copies of this for us. So if you own a copy, great. If you can find a copy cheap, or if you really want to add to your collection with something rare and unique, go for it. You can get it on Amazon.
Something weird.
But if you get a chance to watch it, watch it for it. It's just insane. It's not scary at all. There is but at the same time, horror movies. We're a little different back then. This is before the slasher really took off. This is before.
This is where the same time period as Omen, Rosemary's Baby, Exorcist, where it's spiritually spooky.
Paranormal stuff.
Yeah, or like Omen is perfect. That's all about Satan and Satan's child coming back, and same thing with Rosemary's Baby and The Exorcist being possessed. They're all around the same time period. Give or take 5 or 7 years.
Yeah. But again, if you just want to watch it for the special effect, which again by today's standards seem kind of lame and tame, but if you keep in mind
from
1975,
good practical,
incredible,
good practical effects,
incredible melting effects for a time. So bad it's good for both of us. Check it out if you can. That's gonna do it for us. We're gonna wrap it up. We'll be back in the future with another bad horror movie. So in the meantime, guys, watch more horror movies and remember to always keep it tight.